but Caitlin's not bigger either.
He
said you could
I
stretch
can
me.
stretch her out. I can't stretch Fuzzy
You've
out.
already stretched her out for years, so that's besides the
Hey
point.
everybody, what's up? Welcome to Xbox Ultimate
Is
Podcast.
that live?
It
Yeah.
was live, and we are live, and there's no lies told here today. What's up, chat? How's it going? Welcome to XUP episode number. What are we on now?
117.
The Master.
Oh, I
Yeah,
forgot to put on
episode.
the fucking helmet.
Once that Emma we
Wow.
Oh, shit.
This is the
Yeah,
Master.
you're right.
Hey, maybe you should have stayed on Halo.
Why are you so
earlier.
blurry, Mav?
Am I blurry?
Yeah,
Oh,
you
you're
look
blurry
lower
as fuck.
res than everybody else.
Do I?
You look like your background.
I think it's because I'm doing this stupid thing with Zoom. This is a new feature that I'm trying out. Jasper just
What happened?
disappeared.
Jasper.
What's the JG app?
The JG
You guys-
app. That's a new
Oh my
app
God.
on Xbox right now.
You guys want to
amazing.
know where all your super chats are going? This is it, folks. This is high technology right here.
Whatever.
I
And,
just tried to put on the Master Chief helmet. It doesn't fucking work because this stupid green screen shit.
and everybody, Fuzzy is here. Well, this is
That's
like
so
fucking
weird. Hi.
3D looking effect. Holy shit, that's crazy looking.
Yeah.
Fuzzy's here. He's relegated to my icon on my Xbox. Right
Why do you
there.
have
Hold
a
on,
fake
hold on.
arm pointing? What is that?
Mav,
Up more.
Mav,
Huh?
you
Yeah.
can't
Stick
see
your
him. In,
finger up more.
you can't see fucking Fuzzy
What?
because it crops it out.
Oh,
on the
I gotta
phone.
fix that. Hold
Yeah.
on. I gotta fix. Thanks. This is I just discovered this. There's Fuzz.
We're
Why
coming in
are
hot,
Mav and
folks.
Jasper
We're coming in hot tonight.
Oh my
Jasper's
God.
moving in on his space. Real
Yeah,
quick.
whenever Jasper gets really close to Mav.
We could take a selfie here. This be
We
cute.
could. It's like we're all
There he is.
There's Fuzz. You see Fuzz?
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah, right there.
Oh,
Get
I'm like
that here.
reaching out of the
Get
box.
that
Oh, the game.
Oh my God.
This is a virtual reality NBA 2K.
This was a mistake. This is Mav's version
Oh
of the
my
metaverse.
God.
Here we go. All right.
Anyway, we're having too much fucking fun with this thing. Anyway, hi everybody. What's up? Welcome again to the XUP 117, the Master Chief Special. 3-Bit was supposed to be here for the Master Chief Special, but I guess he decided he's not gonna.
You forgot.
Yeah, he forgot. It's okay though.
Last night was too much for him.
Last night was a lot. This chat's already popping. So many amazing people here. We got Michael Garvey hanging out, Boogeyman. What's up? I see Steel Rain hanging on the chat. Shout out to Living Split Screen. Deccaddo, Ryan, Tando, Luis Jose. How's it going? RSJ fan, Chris Jones, Alvin, Talos Ray, Masshole, Jigga J. Wow. I mean, you guys.
What'd you call me?
You guys are
Where you putting
ready.
your hand on? Where you putting your hand?
You guys are ready for a show.
Did you feel
Whoa,
that
that's a
tickle?
big finger.
You guys are ready for a great show today.
Let's go.
Can
Mine
Jasper
don't
just,
do
like,
that. Why is
punch
Mav the only
Mav?
one that gets the 3D look? What's going on?
Can I what?
I said, can you punch Mav? And Mav, can you like do the like little motion that you're getting punched?
Wait,
No,
I
the
was
Take
other
that
way.
wrong way.
sorry, dude.
This is a
You don't
B
go
movie.
towards it.
My bad. Do it again, Jasper. I'll do better. Oh,
Wow, what a delay. What a
okay.
delay.
Sorry.
This is like Marvel Snap, and Mav, you upgraded your card to 3D. That's
Yeah.
exactly what it sounds like.
Animation.
Yeah.
Emanating.
Michael Garvey says Mav just fingered.
Wow.
Whoa. It was not my intention. I'm sorry. I'm getting used to this technology. What's up, DeathLordStrong, everybody? Hey, yeah, we're having fun. Last night wasn't a lot of fun, to be honest. And yesterday, not so much for Xbox. I put on Twitter, I thought it was a bad day for Xbox yesterday. Some people
Psycho
said
and I look like we're connected at the shoulder. It's pretty cool.
the Siamese twins. Let's go. The surgery to separate y'all is very expensive, so y'all might have to stay that way. Yeah, it was a little bit of a bad day. I put that on Twitter. Some people have said, "Why? Why was it a bad day?" Well, I'll say maybe because the FTC sued to block the Activision Blizzard deal, followed by Xbox's lack of presence at the Game Awards, except for sponsoring. They were very present in that regard. Overall, though, it was an interesting day for Xbox, and there's still not a lot. I mean, there's still a lot of positives from last night as well to look at for Xbox. But we're gonna get into all of that and more. Also, we'll have the discussion that we had for earlier in this week. We got $70 games now for 2023, and lots of interesting stuff here. So it's gonna be an interesting show today.
Wait, are you off the ledge now, Mav? Because last night you were ready to jump.
I'm off the ledge.
It was over with.
I
Cancel the deal. This is stupid.
I don't know if you
Xbox
saw.
got no games.
I didn't say
I
that.
can't see anything.
I don't know if you saw in the DMs earlier when we were talking. I said, in reality, I want the deal to close, right?
Yeah.
But it gets frustrating as hell still to see things like what happened last night as an Xbox fan. And overall, I think there's a lot of mistakes that have been made along the way that led to that. But let's get into the intros before we get too deep into the discussion, because I can tell it's already going to get off the rails.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Shout out to Fuzzy Belvedere. What's up, Fuzz? How's it going, man?
Yeah, I told
Doing
you.
fun.
Fuzzy's first in his heart tonight.
Oh my God.
Ah,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I told you should
See,
have put her up there. I'm telling you.
Yep.
See, Mav couldn't stretch Fuzzy as much as
Not
Caitlin.
here
Whoa.
for like what, 2 months or
No,
something?
yeah, I know. Fuzz, you're gonna have to wait.
No, it's cool.
No, Fuzz, you're gonna have to wait. Damn it, I got called out. Hey, baby, first in my heart, lovely wife, Caitlin.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Hey.
Okay. All right. Now on to Fuzzy. What's up, dude? How's it going, man?
I'm doing great. Sorry to get you in trouble
You
here.
get a private room for the two people in the middle over there.
Oh man, we're already off the rails, but
Yeah.
man, I'm glad to be here with you guys. This is going to definitely be a fun one. So let's get it.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. In some ways, there's gonna be some passion, I think, displayed today. Jasper, what's up, man? How are you?
Yo, going pretty good. Played some Overwatch, getting that battle pass for season 2 done, and finishing Midnight Suns. I'm at halfway through Act 3, I think, so should be finishing that pretty soon.
Yeah,
that's what I've been doing.
Yeehaw, motherfucker.
Yeah, yeehaw.
Right on. Psychonauts, the mellow fellow from outer space. What's up, dude? How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic. What a fucking crazy fucking week it's been. And we've got so much to talk about. We got the FTC out here fucking lying like Jim Ryan. And we have, Aaron Greenberg saying, don't worry, there's stuff to be shown. So I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
We'll see. But we got more to talk about.
Then we got Pong Soul, the one and only amazing voice of many podcasts. What's up, dude? How you doing?
Not much. Been a long day, 12 hours. I'm here. I just walked in the door, so glad to be with you guys and have some laughs already. Again, this high-tech thing you got going. Mav, let's never do this again, okay? This is...
I can switch
Dad, I'm
it.
sorry.
If you
I'll
don't like it, I
apologize.
can
We
switch
were
it
on
right
Halo.
now.
Yeah,
we were
no,
on Halo earlier.
No, I'm afraid what would happen if you push any buttons, so please don't.
Yeah, we
Okay.
might see some pics.
This was a hell of a week. If you have been listening to any of our shows, you have heard. I even hopped on FSP because I had to over the $70 games. It's been an impassioned week.
I forgot that
for
was this
sure.
week.
Yeah, that was this week, Jasper. What I thought was going to be a kind of chill week with just like the Game Awards, some cool announcements, turned into an absolute shit show. And we got a lot to say because I'm still fired up about a lot of different things. And after the award show, because we were just talking about Xbox so much, we didn't even get to cover the games. And there was a lot of great stuff.
And
shown
I want to
last
make sure we
night.
do that today too.
Yes,
There's a lot
yes.
of good stuff shown for Xbox.
Yes,
also
a lot,
right?
A lot. 2023 got a whole lot busier.
It's
folks,
it's
which is
actually insane.
crazy to say, but it did.
Yeah. So let's get into that. Game Awards. I'll say we had a stream. We actually had a record turnout for our Game Awards stream. This is like our 3rd year in a row doing it. Third, crazy that we have things we've been doing for 3 years now. Actually, and we got to have a lot of fun covering the Game Awards last night. We had, like I said, we had a record turnout. Right now, it's not discoverable because I got to fight all the copyright claims that I get annually for the Game Awards. So. Like the one of them was for the Mario Brothers trailer. Got blocked, and
Did you get hit for Halsey?
I haven't gotten hit for Halsey.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
thought
didn't
that
get
would
hit
be
for.
like the big one.
I think because it was a song from a game.
It's not. That's off her album.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe she doesn't really
Yeah.
care too much. Maybe she allowed it.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if it's up to her.
Yeah, the record labels and stuff like that usually are the ones behind
Yeah.
that, and
Depends on who's her record.
and it's even
label.
different for different countries. Like sometimes my stuff gets blocked in Brazil for whatever reason, but nowhere else. It's
Brazil has quirky laws.
yeah, it's interesting. So, but you know that will be back up and discoverable. So I want to thank the near almost 2,000 people that rolled through during the show last night to watch us co-stream the Game Awards. That means a lot to have the community show up and show out like they did yesterday. Some new faces, a lot of familiar faces last night, and regardless of what, as an Xbox fan, what I thought from Xbox at the show, overall, I thought it was a fairly good show with a lot of good games. So I actually want to start there because I want to talk about, before we get too deep into a lot of the negatives and a lot of the controversy stuff that's going on right now, let's start with some of the positives, right?
Oh, yeah.
So shout out to Jasper and Steele. They had shared in the chat because I wasn't taking notes yesterday, but they shared some of the games actually shown at the Game Awards. We got quite a few new games coming to Xbox at the Game Awards.
Yeah, that's why I'm like not as disappointed, because like we still get third party stuff. Like it sucks for first party, but like we still get a ton of amazing games that was shown there. So it's like
yeah, that's very true. And after the day of settling down a little bit, it's my disappointment is lessened, but still disappointed a little bit with Xbox's decision, whether for whatever reason. There's lots of different reasons why we got what we got last night, but the positives are I'm going to go through a list of games here. Banisher's Ghost of Eden was shown. That one was coming to Xbox as well, I believe. Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 was shown.
Phenomenal. Gonna be phenomenal.
Yeah. Crime Boss, that's the Chuck Norris /
Expendables looking Miami
everybody
90s game or whatever.
$29.99 is supposedly the price.
Yeah. And was that 2023 also, I think?
Yes.
Yeah.
March 28th.
It's going to be an interesting game.
I'm wondering, like, with that many actors, like, how is that game that cheap? Like,
that's what I'm
game.
wondering. It's a first-person game.
Maybe
so.
It had Michael
voluntary.
Rooker was in it.
Chuck Norris, Danny Trejo.
Yeah. I mean, there was lots of people in that game.
Maybe they're doing because of charity.
I don't think so. Armored Core 6.
Oh my god, that got me hard.
Let's go.
Oh my
Let's go.
God.
We've been
Sorry.
waiting. We've been waiting for a very long time.
Dude, I was so excited that it said Xbox at the end of that trailer. I was like, oh my god, thank God. Because that's the thing with From Software. You just don't know.
Yeah, and for anybody who doesn't know, they actually talked to Miyazaki. Was in an interview. Who was it on Twitter? Was it Wolf and Soul? I think it was. Shout out to whoever put it on Twitter. There was an article from 6 years ago on Kotaku where Miyazaki was talking about From Software's upcoming games. You got to remember, 6 years ago, this is like Dark Souls time, right? This is like the first Dark Souls. He mentioned that they had already started working on Armored Core then. It was very early in production, he said.
Holy shit.
But he actually said it in an interview. So this game is going to be 7 years old in production next year. That's why it's coming out so soon. And that's why it's still on last gen consoles as well. But a lot of work has been put in this game. Yeah. And the original director of Sekiro is the one that's actually leading that team for about the past, I think it's been about the past 2 years. He's been leading that team to finish it up. So this is going to be a great, great game. I can already tell. Can't wait for Armored Core. It's been a long time.
It'll be interesting to see if they use that like Dark Souls engine, because like that started showing like kind of being dated with Elden Ring. So like I'm kind of worried about that a little bit though.
Yeah.
I don't care. We're getting mech game, and it's cool as hell.
From Software's been on a roll for so long now, that I don't know. Can they do any wrong right now? What's the last bad From Software game that's come out? Exactly.
It depends what you like. I mean, if you're not a
I
Souls
mean,
fan,
I
you
don't
could say the
think-
Dark Souls were bad, right? But most
Dark
people
Souls
think,
3, I think, underperformed for like
Yeah,
a lot of fans.
but people like it now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's still highly rated and stuff too, as well.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I mean, those games were more niche. I think when that came out as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
happy
love.
birthday, Louis! You got your Chuck Norris game for your birthday.
Yeah,
You're
so
right.
shout
There
out
you
to shout out to Louis XBI Xbox International Podcast, a member for 11 months. Says woohoo!
You didn't like
finally
my
got
post,
Chuck
by the way,
Norris
Louis.
game. Let's go.
Louis, I wish you happy birthday on Twitter. You didn't like my post. You were answering everybody else's, but you skipped mine. What's going on, man? We got beef.
Uh-oh.
We got
That's
beef.
fucking bullshit, bro.
Oh, he
I
said he
know.
did. Oh wait, no, he didn't. Never mind.
What was
I
that?
said, yes, I did. He got his Chuck Norris game. That's what he
Oh.
said.
The hell? The From Software game from the OG Xbox with the Japanese
Otagi.
Otagi. Yes,
Yeah. Otagi
that
1
game
and 2.
was. I would love for either like a 3 or remake of that. Those games were fantastic. They were
Yeah,
good.
it's not happening.
I know, but a motherfucker can fucking.
They
pray.
found the gold mine. They're gonna be strip mining for a while here for sure. So Elden Ring is coming. They're
Yeah.
gonna have to do an Elden Ring 2 out the gates, unless Sony pays them enough to do Bloodborne 2. So we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we have even more than that. Blue Protocol. This looks like a Bandai Namco's answer
The
to
anime game.
Genshin Impact type thing.
That more multiplayer focused.
Yeah. It looked pretty damn awesome. I'm not.
Amazing.
It looks really good. And again, Bandai Namco's been publisher has been on a roll, as well this past year. So shout out to them for revealing that game. That's another one that's 2023. It was Armored Core 6 was 2023 also. Was Banishers and Warhammer 40K also 2023 or
Yes.
Space Marine 2, yeah.
Dude, there's
First
so
one
much.
is.
yeah.
Banishers, I'm not sure. That's the Don't Nod game, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't. Did they say a date?
I
on that
don't know if
one?
they
That was that.
It's
It was a fantasy
coming to
RPG,
Xbox
right?
sometime in 2023. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
an
That's
action RPG fantasy.
action RPG from Don't Nod, who did Life is Strange. If anybody needs to know that, so you're
Yeah.
talking about some of the best narrative. Even though Life is Strange was not for me in any way.
Mhm.
I tried. The narrative is off the charts. All the
I
time.
expect that
This
one to get
looks really
delayed though. It looks really early for
Yeah, it does look early, but the clip of play that they did show looked pretty complete. So we shall see. We shall
Yeah.
see. Just depends how
Um,
big it is. It could be a 10-hour game. So
Yeah, that's
don't
true.
you know what I'm saying? It could be narrative heavy. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Then we also got Remnant 2, which was a surprise.
yeah.
Yes.
Really excited for that one.
That's a Souls-like, right?
Yeah, it's kind of it's a lot easier than Elden Ring. It's probably like the easiest Souls-like game out there, I would
Okay.
say. But
And it's in the first one's in Game Pass, correct?
yeah,
I think. Yeah, Steel was playing it
still?
last night.
Is it still?
Is that 60
Yeah.
frames updated?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
pretty sure.
Yes.
Okay, right on.
It is. Remnant 1 got the patch. They were one of the early games that got the patches.
Yeah.
So
I might give it a
it
shot.
plays really well. Yeah, I got stuck, man. We might have to roll together, and we can get Steel because Steel just downloaded it too. Because I got stuck at a boss, and I was like, I'm done. Like, but through that part, I was having a great time because Souls like with guns is actually kind of fun. So yeah.
Also, they do an interesting thing with the world. Like every time you go into the level, it reloads like
Yes.
the level, so it's gonna be different every time you go in there.
Correct.
Oh, that's cool. That's nice.
Then we got Transformers Reactive.
I'm so excited.
I did not
Transformers
see
is coming
this
back.
at all. I did not even. This was not on the.
This was
radar
supposed to be an MMO, but they didn't really describe it like as an MMO when
No,
they
1 to 4 players.
That's not an MMO. So
Nope,
the whole
1 to
Certain
4
Affinity Transformers MMO that got handed over to Splash Damage became a lot different of an announcement that we anticipated.
Yes.
There wasn't really any Transformers shown in the trailer.
No.
Um,
They showed the one arm, and that's
yeah.
it. That looked like Bumblebee's arm. I'm
Yeah.
hoping it's
Yeah.
Gen 1. That's going to make or break. Well, I shouldn't say break it, but my hype level is going to be even for this game until I know if they're going back to Gen 1 or if there's going to be newer style Transformers. Then I'll
see,
wait and see.
I don't know if you noticed, even some of the Gen 1 transfer, like Optimus Jazz, like sometime it's hit and miss with Bumblebee. It's either the bug or the Camaro.
Right.
So it's like one of those. It's like, does it? I mean, Bumblebee almost gets a pass, but
I mean, I would
Kind of.
assume this
he's
is
always
later.
the bug. but
I would assume it's later too, Jasper, since they're reactivating them again. Like
Also, it's like destroying all the Earth cities and stuff.
Yeah,
so it's like,
yeah. I would assume it's later, but if they let's put it, if they give me Gen 1 skins, I'll be happy. Just give me Gen 1 skins, we're good.
Yeah, if there was an option for Gen 1
Yes,
skins,
yes.
I'm all fucking about it. Give me that Peterbilt Optimus Prime.
Because
I mean-
if that video was real, Jasper, the cutscene video, if that was real, they looked Gen 1 more so than the newer.
I have a feeling that cutscene thing though was probably from a canceled project or something that got leaked
It
out.
could have been
Yeah.
certain affinities, and obviously this thing's changed hands multiple times. I don't even think certain affinities the first studio that started it. I think there was one before it. So this obviously could have evolved
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
each studio and
it-
got to this point.
Yeah, it could have got just a little bit smaller for the fact that how big if it was an MMO. So they kind of just cropped it, made it a 4-player co-op, and on its way. So it could come out in a decent time and not like 2028.
Although the logo like kind of gives me the old school vibes.
Right.
Yeah, that's we're hoping. What else, man? What else?
What else?
What
Well,
else?
some more good games. Next up was Wayfinder. I don't remember this one. Which one was Wayfinder?
This is the PlayStation one, right?
Yeah.
Was
okay,
that the
this is
2024
3D
release?
Oh, so this one's-
world-changing picture thing.
Yes.
This isn't
no, this
coming-
was the looter kind of.
Oh yeah, this one's
I
not
don't-
coming to Xbox.
Yeah, that's not an
Yeah.
Xbox game, I don't
Yeah,
think.
Wayfinder's not coming to Xbox.
no,
that did
Sony
look-
pumped money into it.
Yeah, this is
so.
one of their live service games. Okay, I remember which one this was.
It looked really
um,
great though. It really did.
Never
It did,
mind.
though.
Diablo 4 is coming to Xbox though.
No, my God.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh my god.
My
Oh,
god.
okay.
dude.
Oh,
That-
fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude.
Kate.
Can we all just appreciate the value that Blizzard puts into their CGI cutscenes? Holy
Their
fuck,
CGI division is one of
Like,
the best in the business.
it is like
Hands down.
Anytime StarCraft 2, Warcraft, everything that's with Blizzard, those cutscenes just
They
fucking
took Azrael and made Azrael even more badass.
Mhm.
Like I don't know how that's possible, but in that video with his
Yeah.
wings and his energy that
Yeah.
man, I'm telling
Yeah.
you, crazy.
he transcended.
Yeah, so
Oh.
Diablo 4, I mean, and then we got that concert from Halsey during that time.
That wasn't on Xbox.
The concert from Halsey?
Oh, I thought you never mind. I was thinking of the
No,
after show
the
concert
other,
thing.
yeah, the fuck that thing.
Oh, flute guy.
No, not Fluke Guy.
Oh.
There was a trailer for some like Aurora Sky,
Yeah.
like
It was on everything but Xbox.
The
Yeah.
concert that's on everything
Oh.
on
Yeah.
Xbox. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that then.
All right, so we got Diablo 4. Then what about Immortals of Avium?
Yes. That was the
That's-
one
that
that
was
had
the
very
Magic
little. We saw
FPS.
very little of it. That's supposed to be like a first person, like they
Yeah,
had the rings
it looked like
kind of
Avowed when
forming.
they did the hand thing.
Yes, and then he had the hand thing,
Mm.
and they showed the one clip just like they did of Avowed. Yep,
Yeah.
that's that one. Yep.
So that looked
Hmm.
interesting. Don't know
Yes.
what else is going to be entailed with that, but it looked pretty
I
cool.
must have been fucking with my PS5 at that point.
Yeah.
You probably were.
Um,
You were pissed off not paying attention.
It's a
Oh,
EA
I
game.
was.
yeah, it's an EA original.
I'll have to
So I
look
mean,
at
it's
it.
like an indie studio
Yes.
making it, right? So, then hey, Tekken 8 showed up.
Yes.
Great trailer, I thought.
Looking phenomenal. Law is there. Holy
Yeah.
shit, I can't believe it. I'm so
Law was
excited.
there. That's surprise. That was
Yes.
the most surprising thing
Yes.
because the whole Bruce Lee situation of his family and all of that.
I think his mannerisms and how he is,
They
how
probably
he's-
changed the sounds
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah,
That's
he's
what
probably-
he did, his
he's-
voice.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
probably like Laws Jr. or something. So it's gonna be.
yeah.
Well, yeah,
I don't care if he's got the same fighting style. I'm down. For
So
it.
he won't be
That's all.
going like
I don't know.
"Whoa,
Yeah, doing the-
Yeah.
whoa."
And he might not have that bouncing like fucking.
Yeah, we'll
So
see.
they might change a lot about Law, just for the fact of, Bruce
Yeah.
Lee's family.
Yes, Alvin Tyrell saying thank you. Sorry.
Have
No,
y'all
that's-
seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Yeah, I've seen.
With Leo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt.
Seen
The Bruce Lee in that is amazing. It's it's so funny. Anyway, all right, moving on. All right, next up we got Lightfall, which was Destiny 2
DLC.
DLC. Yay. Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League was shown again with a trailer. No gameplay, I don't think, was shown for this.
Focused on the Batman part, obviously. That's
Yeah.
what it was about, more so than anything. But they showed off Harley some more, so my girl's in it, so I'm cool with this game. We're good.
Yeah, it was more of a tribute.
I can fix
Yeah.
her.
One game that really stood out, and they did also show gameplay, was Jedi Survivor.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting how I don't know if you guys picked up on it, but some of those enemies looked like what is it, Forced Unleash. Some of them, like the droids, looked like Forced Unleash. So I wonder.
No, don't say it, Psycho. It's not going to happen.
No, not that they're going to have like meet up or anything, but use the enemies. It's kind of a little bit of a lore to kind of tie it that way. And
that's what I was kind of when I first saw it originally, and they showed the guy in the tube in the encased
Back
in
the
the
tank?
yes, thank you. I was wondering if they could link the stories and bring a little bit of that storyline into it, like this is experimental,
Or maybe he's like the new Star Killer.
right, exactly, that they're
Mhm.
trying to create the Star Killer, just it's not Star Killer, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
we'll see, but I think that could be a way they could go to.
Yeah.
because that was canon to LucasArts, correct, but not to the Disney now.
Lucas hated Star Killer personally. Absolutely despised the character. Did not even want people talking about it
Because he was so overpowered, he like threw
because
off
he
the
broke.
balance.
He broke
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
rules that it wasn't even
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah,
He could like
it's-
force pull planets and shit. So it's like
he was the chosen one.
he was Ray before Ray. Let's just put it that way.
Oh my god! Don't even get with Ray
Oh.
and that fucking bullshit.
Kate,
Sorry.
Kate's got the best clip I've ever seen. She just shared with me.
The best what?
The best clip. Not I don't know what.
I was like, bro,
Well, that too.
what?
But
Hey, hey!
but it's like, oh my god, I can't wait till she shares on Twitter. What
Oh, wow.
what she's got. What she clipped.
Oh,
It's amazing.
The
Clip.
OnlyFans announcement. What is this?
No, the clip with a P. With a P.
oh, okay. Sorry, I misheard.
no, Louis. Also,
Michael Garvey said, "Is this sponsored?"
yeah, it is.
Yes.
We get a couple more games out of the way here, and then we'll get into the sponsor.
I mean, that's not too far off what the sponsorship does, right?
Yeah, that's true. It's pretty close sometimes.
It's grooming.
Dune Awakening, survival MMO. Very different trailer this time around than last time. Still don't know at all what the actual game's gonna look like.
I know.
So we'll see.
If it's somewhere near like Conan Exiles, like that. I mean, I played a lot of that game with the new update
I
for
wonder
the
why.
Series X. No, you actually PC mod has the removal of the undergarments. You
Oh.
cannot with you can't do that with
Yeah, he looked it up.
You can get topless though.
yeah topless, but
Yeah.
you know
Oh, no big deal anymore. Whatever.
yeah
Seen one,
titties.
seen them all.
You see my titties every day.
One, you seen them all.
Then we got Hades 2. This was a surprise.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
this was talked about everywhere.
Supergiant doesn't usually do sequels, you know, so but you know, this makes sense for a sequel for sure. This is one I was hoping.
Yeah.
Character looks awesome. I said it looks like a Pong Soul created character in a video game. And yeah, it's looked really good, and who knows exactly the differences. I'm sure there's going to be quite a bit mechanically
I'm just
different.
like, I never played the first one, but just the way that they're expanding into different mythology is like interesting to me.
Yeah.
Like where they're talking about
You
going
didn't
after
play
Cronus.
Hades yet?
No.
What? It's like the ultimate sweaty game. What are you doing? Really?
Yeah, dude.
Wow. Okay.
Oh my god! I guess
go
I'm not a
play it.
gamer.
You better go play. You're not.
No,
You're not a gamer.
it's fun. It's one of those. It's like Vampire Survivor with the
Don't tell me that.
no with with the
Each
tools,
each run you pick up different
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
things and
roguelike.
stuff.
Yeah.
the weapons and things like that. So you can
Josh was like,
mix
get
and
your
match.
fucking hand out of my face.
And it's really great. I'm very surprised you haven't played it, but you should give it a whirl.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, whirl.
Give it a whirl.
Give it a whirl.
Yeah, I'm really excited for Hades too. That game was good, and hopefully this is on Xbox immediately this time, which I think it is, right? They had Xbox logo on there, I believe.
Yes, it's on
So-
everything. Yep.
And then another one, a nice surprise here to show up, was Judas.
Yes.
Ken
Levine, man, genius is back.
Yep. Ken Levine, creator of BioShock, his new game with his new studio, I think. It's a new Ghost Story games. Okay.
Yep. No. Yep.
Yeah.
Real Story is their new
Yeah.
studio. Yep.
So, making this game that looks very BioShocky, and I think a lot of people should be excited for that one.
From the description of it, it's a single-player narrative-driven FPS, and the protagonist is attempting to escape a disintegrating starship. So
Yes. So
Yeah.
BioShock in space this time
Yeah.
instead of underwater is basically what it's going to be.
Right.
Because even some of the neon signs and stuff in the background had that old world kind of look to them.
Yeah.
Straight out of BioShock. Straight out of BioShock. This is a spiritual, since Ken can't work on BioShock, since 2K owns it, this is obviously the spiritual successor to it. So it looks absolutely freaking incredible. Yeah, RSJ, what are BioShock games like? Just what Jasper said. First person, narrative driven game, horror-esque in some ways, dark,
also
BioShock
unfolding
dark.
a mystery through gameplay.
Yes,
as well,
a lot
the
of
way you
mystery
play.
to it, but you get a lot of different powers and stuff. I recommend anybody. It's one of my
yeah.
all-time.
Uncovering the
trilogy.
history of why things are the way they are, and
Yes.
you know what I mean.
They're gonna have big mamas in this one.
and so
I'm sure there'll be some
daddies,
kind of
you mean?
enemies.
They'll
Some
have big
kinda
mamas.
like
maybe they'll have the
yeah.
big mamas and the big papas.
Yeah. Big mamas and little daddies.
But yeah, was that it? I think that's the list. Unless anything's missing.
What?
Street
You
Fighter,
Idris Elba and Cyber
Replaced showed up.
Yeah, I'm
Atomic
sorry.
Heart.
You missed
I
our
missed-
favorite one.
I
What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, I was going off this list here. I got to go back. Okay, so yeah, Street Fighter 6 was shown. Yeah, duh. That also got a release date for June. Was it 2nd or 6th? Because there was another game that got
second, I think.
There was another game that got the 6th. Which was the 6th?
Diablo.
That was
is
Diablo.
before- Yeah.
What a
Yeah.
week!
Yeah, it was
What a-
666.
What a damn week! The 2nd to the 6th. That's
Dude.
gonna be nuts, bro.
leading up to E3. Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh
Oh,
my
god.
bruh. Then Replaced also got shown. That kind of kicked off the show, didn't it? Replaced. One of the first things shown. I think it was. one of the first things shown was
Yeah,
Replaced.
it was like one of the first 3 or so.
Yeah. That looks awesome. And that is in Game Pass, actually. Day 1. So that's an exciting game.
I know the one Pong's thinking about. I just
Yeah,
saw
of
it.
course. I don't know. I can't believe he's skipping this.
Well, sorry, I was relying on these lists that were sent to me because I forgot to take
Company of Heroes
Oh my
3
God,
for
yes,
console.
yes.
My God.
Jesus
Thank
Christ.
That's the one I
can't
just
believe
scrolled
it.
past, and I was like, how the fuck is this?
Company of Heroes 3.
Console
Something-
edition.
Something that I've been saying
Yes.
needs to
Oh
happen
my god.
Yes.
is getting
Mav is
released
canceled.
on Xbox. I know. This was like my announcement of the
and
show.
PlayStation.
This was like my
Yes.
favorite thing that happened at the
Yes.
show, and I completely forgot about it. Company of Heroes 3. We've been making the case. RTS games, no excuse, right? Xbox is
Yep.
finally bringing age here, but also Company of Heroes 3 is dropping. Did it get the release date?
2023 is all it said.
Just
I think.
2023, but they already released footage today. Got 5-minute videos showing off the console version, and they showed some new things that they added. Redid the entire UI for the
Nice.
console for the controller. You're able to
Yeah.
actually issue commands and pause.
That was a
You can
good video.
pause
And
and
is
issue
it-
commands.
And
on
is that
console as
launching
well,
day
so
and date with the PC version?
I'm not sure. They haven't confirmed that yet, but it looks like it's really far along already. They've been
Right.
working at this. They've been working at this for a
Mhm.
long time. So it
Yeah.
looks absolutely incredible. It looks as good as the PC version. It looks like everything's included. They just made quality of life choices for the console to make it easier for the console player, which is all Mav and I have ever asked for. It's not that difficult, folks, and that's what we're seeing. The return of the RTSs to the consoles this generation.
Treating the console players like they should be.
Yes.
With respect.
Yep.
Wow. Anything
Party
else?
Animals?
Party Animals was shown.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crash Bandicoot.
Crash Bandicoot. That looked weird to me. I don't know how it was.
It was like a
exciting.
brawlers.
Yeah.
It's 4v4 team-based online multiplayer. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Dead Cells, Castlevania DLC.
Dead
a lot of Dead
Cells,
Cells.
yes.
A lot of Dead Cells fans out there love that game, actually. But Castlevania DLC looks freaking amazing. It looks so cool. So
Yeah.
that
Apparently,
was pre-show.
Konami is not going to do shit with it. So everyone else is going to do something with their IP.
Anything
Return
else?
going to
Lords of
PC,
the
but we don't care
Fallen?
about that.
Anything else we missed, chat?
Lords of the Fallen.
Lords of the Fallen. Yes, I remember that trailer.
Reboot. Yes, looks really good for all you Souls fans out there. Listen, Lords of the Fallen was early on. They tried a lot of things. It didn't actually hit very well. This reboot looks like they're taking basically just saying, okay, From did all this, we're just gonna do that too, and it looks amazing. It looks really, really cool.
Chris Jones with the $2 super chat says this show is turning into sex box ultimate. That's funny.
Another one was Post Trauma by Raw Fury and Red Soul Games. It's the one where it still kept going, oh man, that dude's thick.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Yes, that guy. I remember that. Yeah.
Boy.
The thick boy. Yeah.
And then they did show off Cyberpunk, the DLC coming next year.
Idris.
Yes, Idris is
mean-
in it. Phantom Liberty, or what is it? Phantom Liberty, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I mean,
For the DLC,
overall,
it's amazing.
hell of a Game Awards. I gotta say.
Yes. Yeah.
Pacing, fantastic.
Well,
For the most part, besides, there's a lot of ads.
it wasn't Keely's fault.
Yeah.
Per se.
The some of the acceptance
Judge.
speeches ran a
Bill
little
Clinton
bit.
thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bill Clinton
You
thing at
can't-
the end was funny. I don't care.
The Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Thank
Shout out
you.
to Louis
That's a
with
new
the $2
cult
super
today, by
chat.
the way.
Yeah. Reformed Orthodox Rabbi Bill Clinton with the $2 super chat from Louis. Appreciate that, dude. Well, so Game Awards. We'll give them grades here in a minute, but before that, let's get a word from our sponsor. Who was our sponsor, babe?
Manscaped.
Manscaped. Oh, and I think you're doing the ad read this week.
I
Right?
am.
Ooh.
Santa baby. It must be a holiday miracle because the sponsors of today's show, Manscaped, are providing the tools your man needs to stuff all your stockings, if you know what I mean. That's right. This holiday season, Manscaped has vowed to make sure your man's tree is standing tall with 2 filled presents underneath.
Whoa.
Trust me, ladies, Santa's cookies aren't the only thing you're going to want to get your hands and mouth on. Have him join the 7 million other sexy lumberjacks who use Manscaped and get 20% off plus free shipping at manscaped.com with code FUNSPECULATION. Oh, baby, is it cold outside and warm inside?
Oh, wow.
I feel like I'm watching Comedy Central at like 3 a.m. where you get call
Okay, listen.
1-800 now.
Can you
Listen, she does all the ad reads from here on out.
Can you
we
read
just
that?
play a tape version of that.
Yeah.
In the PM.
Can you read that again?
Chris Jones with the sweaty.
Wow, that was. I don't know if we can continue on with the show.
We took a left at the beginning of the show, so
If you guys got to take a break, I'll just take over. Just go
I'll
ahead.
I'll
be back in about
everybody.
5 minutes.
I'll be back. Gotta go
Uh,
downstairs real quick.
Wow. With your hands.
Said you okay?
I wonder if I suck something else through this box, how big it would look. Oh my god! No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. Manscaped.com. You know, those products already make you look bigger without having to use any fake 3D effects.
What? What?
Trim your bush for the holidays, everybody. It does bring attention to the package under the tree, and sometimes
Slide into something warm.
sometimes maybe it's the best gift to give.
You can have a little date night, cookies
Yeah.
and cocks,
Whoa. Yeah.
Not got my date night, but all right.
and your man needs to provide. It's like a BYOM. Bring your own milk.
Ah.
Wow.
Bring your own milk. Whoa. Okay. Wow. Okay. Yeah, and a good product.
Vic said, so I
besides-
just ordered. Vic with the $5 super chat. So I just ordered. Do we get that promo again?
Yeah, if you use the code Fun Speculation, you do get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with code Fun Speculation. Yeah.
Christmas is a few weeks away. Get it for a
Yeah.
gift for someone.
Yep. White elephant gifts, really good. For that, like I say, you get ball deodorant and give them away as gag gifts. That's
Get
great.
it for your elephant.
Give it to your dad for that uncomfortable gift moment.
Yeah, give it for your dad, or give it.
Or that pervy uncle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't get you a gift this year, Psycho. I love your handlebar mustache, by the way. It's
Thank you,
fantastic.
thank you. Yes. Did you get my Huckleberry reference?
Yeah, I did. Love it.
Okay.
Shout out to Louis again with the $5 super chat. Says Vic, bring mine for the wedding. Thanks. Whoa. Yeah. Again, congrats, Louis, on getting married on. I think it's next Saturday. He said.
Yep.
Yeah.
Louis getting married? What the fuck? Where was I?
Yeah,
I don't know where you.
Where have you been? This is-
You
I've been
before
playing-
wedding.
I'm sorry.
Louis only talks about it on Twitter every single fucking day. Like, seriously.
Well, I've been really.
you got him muted. I understand. That's
No, no. I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima.
You've been playing Ghost of Tsushima for like a year?
No, has he been? Has it been? I haven't. I don't know. Congratulations. Sorry.
Even Louis says, "Where have you been?"
Smoking. I've been smoking.
He has them muted. It's funny. Vik The CLiCK with a $2 super chat says, "Yo, had me on the promo. Keep the 20%. Did you at least want the free shipping?" Yeah, it does help this channel if you use the code. Everybody, Fun Speculation, Manscaped.com. All right, let's get on to more things. Appreciate you guys for entertaining us every week in the chat with this, because it looks like you have as much fun with that as we do. So it's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, Lou, we want pictures from the wedding on Twitter.
Yeah,
especially from the honeymoon.
yeah, yeah, especially.
Show us what you do with the Manscaped.
Well, we already get those Louis
Whoa.
shower videos on Twitter occasionally, so you know what I mean. All he has to do is give us the reflection on the faucet.
Mirrors don't work,
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah.
Maybe he
If
can
you
make
do it
some
on
honeymoon
Twitch,
shower
it's only a
videos.
3-day suspension.
It's only a 3-day suspension. That's true. That's so crazy. It's only. All right, let's get onto this. So we read all of the games that are coming to Xbox that were at the Game Awards. I want to get some reviews, babe. I know you were kind of watching us on the stream. Were you able to actually check out too much of the show?
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you enjoy the actual Game Awards at all, or was there anything there for you?
They were fine.
They were fine. What would you rate it compared to most Game Awards?
I don't even remember the last one, so I wouldn't even be able to tell you.
Fair enough. Pong Soul, like, do you think that it was better than usual, or same?
Pacing wise, yeah, I think Keighley definitely has learned every time. We talked about this since we all started doing this and watching the Keighley's and watching the Summer Games Fest and stuff. He's gotten better and better, and he's starting to understand the audience. The commercials were way down this year, which I appreciated
Yeah.
a lot.
That's where the extra 30
was-
minutes went.
Exactly.
Well, it
and I
actually
think
went
that was awesome.
2:45, so it really
Yeah.
was.
Because of
Christopher
Judge. I mean,
Judge,
that was
yeah.
that was
Judge.
Judge's.
I
fault,
think he
so-
also had more appropriate commercials this year for the Game Awards, so
yeah.
it kind of felt
Yeah.
it flowed better.
They were mostly
Instead of having, like-
Xbox commercials, to be honest.
Want to
Instead of having like energy
thank
drinks and all that bullshit that kind of stops it, it's
everybody.
like-
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I
to-
thought he did a much better job this year. So I got to say the flow was much better. Again, I always look at these shows in a vacuum, so I don't compare them per se. But if you just want to look at it from a technical aspect, yeah, I thought this year was really well done by Keighley, and he had what he had to work with without Xbox being there with first party stuff. He filled a lot of slots with a lot of other things, and it worked out well. I thought there was a great diverse lineup. got a lot of games, obviously. I mean, you just listed off most of the stuff that's just on Xbox. There was a lot of other stuff in there, obviously. So I thought it was really good. Overall, I think I would give it a solid B for sure. I mean, there was nothing mind blowing outside of like Judas and probably Hades 2. Obviously for you and I, obviously Company Heroes 3 was fantastic, and Armored Core 6 was obviously awesome as well. But I would probably give it a solid B this year. I think he did a nice job with it.
Right on. Hey, Fuzz, what about you, man?
I think the big things for me that stood out were just Hades 2 was probably the big one. Even though graphically it didn't look like an amazing game, Crime Boss I think was another good one. It kind of, I mean, graphically it reminds me kind of a mobile game, but it's the fact that you have all of those celebrities, kind of like it's an 80s or 90s action flick kind of movie that's like a GTA with a old twist to it, kind of thing.
Like the Expendables.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to that. Oh man, my mind is going blank, but there was a couple other ones as well. It was good to see an update on Replaced. But I would say overall my grade for the show was like a B minus. And that's partly because and I'm not going to get into the negative stuff too much, but it's like I was expecting to see at least one of three, if not all three, upcoming games between now and June, at least something updated on them. So the fact that Xbox didn't show any of that, even though it's already public knowledge that those games are coming or supposed to be coming within the 12-month period up to like the next E3, I would have figured they would even just do like a sizzle reel or something. But it is what it is. But outside of that, third party definitely stepped up. Sony had some nice ones there. Forspoken looks better and better, I think, each time we see it, but I don't know if it's really going to move the needle for me to buy it day one or just wait for a sale kind of thing. But
you download
other than
the demo,
that,
Fuzzy?
I haven't tried the demo yet. I'm probably going to wind up trying that demo.
I trust yours opinion more than a lot of the people on Twitter right now, because I think a lot of it is based upon console preference. I've been seeing a lot of mixed reviews. That's why I'm curious. Some people say the demo's actually really pretty good. Yeah, I saw yours too, Psycho. But I'd like to hear
which one?
If you download
Forspoken.
Yeah. So
but glad to see that the I guess the update for Horizon Forbidden West, I guess there was that VR and DLC update thing that's coming. Trying to think, there was another couple of games that were kind of like left field surprises, but I would say Keighley is improving the pacing and the show more and more each year. He's going to have to improve on security so you don't have people wandering on stage. But other than that, not a bad show, but a little disappointed from a fan of a particular platform standpoint that they didn't really do anything more than, what was it, the good luck, have fun slogan?
Yeah, the Game Pass is a real thing.
Yeah, so that's all.
Yeah, nice. Good thoughts there, dude. Thanks, man. Psycho. What about you, bro? What'd you think?
Yeah, so there was as a whole, from what everything was shown, it was a good showing. Between Armored Core and Judas, and a lot of third-party deals for Xbox was shown. So that was a positive. I give it a B. It would have been an A if Xbox had something there. Definitely, because that would have been nice to see where they would have, there's a couple games coming out in the next 3 months. I think they're gonna have like at least
supposed to be
1 or 2 games supposed to be coming out. So it's one of those things that it'd have been nice to see an Xbox first party there, but listening to Xbox 2 earlier today, kind of they hinted at why possibly could have been why they weren't there. So it's interesting. I give it a B. I did check out Forspoken. Looks gorgeous. Looks amazing. It's like the chick is, yanked out of the New York City or something and put into this fantasy level. So she's wearing sneakers and stuff. So it kind of it's not. It kind of throws you off because you're not that total fantasy character, but the moves and the controls of it was pretty decent. The cloak though, that was fucking annoying because he wouldn't shut the fuck up. But I
It's not
guess
her cloak though, is it? It's her bracelet, isn't it?
no, I think it's the cloak.
I'm pretty sure it's the bracelet on her arm. But anyways,
Is
whatever.
it the bracelet?
Whatever.
I don't know.
Whatever's
I thought it was
talking.
the cloak. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So something is talking and it's annoying. But I guess someone pointed out when I posted that you can actually go into the settings and turn it down to being just for urgent matters.
Yeah.
Because it would be like, oh no, you need to watch out for this character. It's like, listen, I don't need to know there's danger coming. And, shut the fuck up. I see him. So it's just one of those things. It's like I don't want the.
But how is the combat? That's the most important.
Combat? Little bit of a curve because there's
because you have to use multiple. Yeah.
Because L2 picks the spell you want to use. I think they only had 3 in each L2 R2, but if you hold them both at the same time, you switch to a different set of different if you're going from white magic to black magic per se. That's
elemental based, right?
Yeah, so you switch to that. So when I switched to that, I had this fire sword that I was fighting with, and I was close up I hit them with the sword, and then if they're farther, I could throw a projectile at them. And then there's a fire wall. So if there's 3 people you're fighting and you see more coming, you do an elemental wall that surrounds you. So if more do come, they're gonna get damaged before they come into your area.
Putting your fucking hand in my face.
Hey man, it's not my fault. That's just how I talk. So yeah. Other than that, great game. It seems interesting. I'll probably wait just because there's other games that I want to play. But it's an interesting take on from Square.
Cool.
So
well, it's not Square. They're publishing, but it's not actually Square, right?
Yeah. And then and like I said, Armored Core, fucking great to see that game. And then Company Heroes 3, that was a really great announcement for console edition. So there's just a lot of things that were really good, that was positive. And yeah, I don't know if you guys heard Xbox 2 when they were talking about possibly there could be a January event.
Greenberg hinted at it. So that's what I said last night on the show, that was a good possibility.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, it sucks that we didn't get something to that last night, but if they're doing something in just next month, then they don't want to show what they got now, and then just want to save for that.
I still think that was. That was Plan B because of the ABK deal. Again, that was.
It could have very well.
The Game Awards were nixed a long time ago by the attorneys. I can guarantee it. So
yeah, it could have very well been.
Yeah,
then January would have been a Plan B, because then the less notice. I guess because it's not on a big natural stage. So
yes, correct. So, but we'll get into that. We derailed the show here. So I started interviewing Psycho on Forspoken, which is not a part of this show.
That's completely fine. It'll eventually.
No, it's fun.
3 years from now, it'll be on Xbox. So
a little Armored Core 2 side tangent. You guys heard me last night, and anybody here who's played Armored Core understands the boost. You boost a lot in Armored Core. Somebody put out a Twitter day. Some dude outside of our community that I hadn't seen before. Somebody retweeted it, but some dude was already on Twitter going, "Okay, Western players, if this is your first Armored Core, you need to push the boost button to go fast. Otherwise, the mech will go slow. And that is like one of the biggest complaints that people had about Armored Core, because us Western players who weren't used to mech games, everybody's like, oh, these mechs are slow. That's because you got to use the boost, folks. So I just thought that was hilarious that somebody already put that out there.
That's funny.
I actually like the slow mech games, to be honest. Like Chrome Hounds was pretty slow.
Mech Warrior.
Yeah.
See, Mech Warrior is very slow. I don't like that.
Mech Assault was kind of in between, right?
Mech Soul's more action based.
Yeah.
I
like you could get out of your mech in Mech Assault.
I think that was only in Lone Wolf.
Yeah, I think it was in the second one.
Lone Wolf.
Jasper, what'd you think, bro? Game Awards?
Yeah, pretty good. Caitlin, I don't know if you saw, but there was a Among Us like expansion new mode thing. So I don't know if you play Among Us anymore.
I did see that. That came out today, right?
Yep. So I don't know if you play that game.
Okay. Yeah, I want to play that for sure.
And then for me, the new games that were announced that we didn't know about, Judas is obviously up there. Remnant Shadow of Ashes 2 is up there, and Transformers. Those are probably the 3 new games that were announced that I'm really excited for. Games that we've known about, Diablo, obviously. I guess Suicide Squad, a little more interest in that, just because they kind of were doing some more storytelling stuff there. It's probably about it. I mean, it's more of a third-party show just because we didn't get Xbox, so I don't have a problem with that. I know a lot of people are like, either some people are first-party only and then they don't care. So like me, I just play everything, so I'm happy either way. But yeah, it's an overall good show. Probably like B- though.
Yeah, fair enough.
Bats doesn't kill people.
I
awesome.
I mean, I enjoyed the show, but I was also getting like annoyed the further it got into the show.
It was a heavy presence of Sony.
I mean, it was a PlayStation showcase show. I mean, they did technically. I mean, Death Stranding, they own that IP, right? So
Yeah.
Death Stranding 2 is technically a first-party game, regardless if it's Kojima. So they revealed a new PlayStation exclusive game there. They had updates on a lot of other exclusive games on PlayStation.
DLC for Horizon
as well. Also, that Wayfinder was also a PlayStation exclusive.
Yes.
That was a brand new game.
Yep.
Also, so the people that saying that Sony didn't really have anything there, just third-party stuff. Well, they had stuff there that they owned rights to exclusive games as well. Timed exclusive games, 2 years, 3 years, whatever. They had a huge presence. Not only that, also with all the awards, because they had a lot of games this year, right? So as an Xbox fan, it's really hard to watch seeing all these Game Pass ads in between all of the PlayStation announcements and PlayStation games.
Mm-hmm.
And it felt to me like it was a PlayStation showcase brought to you by Game Pass. And it was just really weird energy as an Xbox first gamer. Now I play all the multiplats too, and we went all through all those games I'm excited to play, right? I play PlayStation games too, so there's still cool stuff there for me to play also. But my heart is first with Xbox as my preferred platform, and I really was hoping to see at least one or two things from Xbox. I wasn't asking for the world. I wasn't asking for them to blow out this show, but for them to be completely absent without any first-party games was a big disappointment for me.
They could have done a little better, like without necessarily putting more first-party stuff there. Like they could have highlighted Game Pass on some more of the trailers at games that we're getting on Game Pass. Like I know this is a smaller game, but like Party Animals, they could have like had like a little Game Pass slide there at the end, just to highlight it that it's coming to Game Pass, so maybe it wouldn't feel as negative towards Xbox. Just all those games like Atomic Heart was there.
None of the third-party stuff showed any Game Pass. I'm curious if any of those third parties that we got last night that were new.
Did we replace even say Game Pass on the ad?
No.
Which is
No,
weird.
that's what I'm saying. Like I think it felt bad because there's a lot of stuff coming to Game Pass that we know about, but that last 3-second like ad was gone from a lot of those trailers.
That's why I still think this had to do with the ABK deal. For all the doubters that don't think this had anything to do with the ABK, I really do think it does. They stripped down everything.
It felt it, but I will say it was kind of messed up by the DLC of Horizon Forbidden West.
Being current gen only.
Only PS5. So the
Yes.
PS4
Yes.
adopters that played it,
No DLC.
no
Oops,
DLC for
that
you.
is
You have to
weird.
go buy that PS5
Yes.
console to finish your story. That is crazy.
They said it was due to technical limitations.
Yeah,
Well, how'd you get the
What game
whole
was that?
fucking game on there? Like,
exactly.
Horizon,
Forbidden
the
West.
Horizon
okay.
DLC. Yeah.
Yeah.
PS5.
So the game could do it, but not the DLC. It's that much further for next gen. Like then you
I mean,
should have.
GTA's done that before. Destiny did that. So like it's been done before.
But not as DLC.
Destiny did
being-
that as it for expansions. They cut off last gen support. GTA did that with expansions. They cut off last gen support. So it's like
those are
it's been done before.
Yeah, but this is first party though. That's the thing. Like third party, you can see it because they're gonna.
Are you talking about GTA Online stuff? Or are you
Yeah.
talking about so it's like live service game stuff though, like that lasts for years and years and years. Eventually, you expect them to cut off. Like this is a game that just came out last year, right? So that was this year. Sorry, yeah, it's a little surprising for a story based game like this to have add-on content not to be supported on the platform that it was released.
just odd.
Right. I mean, I do get where you're coming from on that, Jasper, but like I think it's a little different when you have live service games that last for like 8 years. You know what I mean? That's kind of almost
I
like
guess.
that's like something I would almost expect, right? In that regard. But
It's the Sony nudge. They want you out
Yeah.
of that PS4 and into the PS5. Come
Mhm.
on,
Yeah.
you had all year to buy it.
yeah.
But they're
That's
still
the
making
way
PS4.
PlayStation
Hey,
looks at it.
get
But they're
a
still
second
making
job.
Yeah.
Get a second job so you can get that VR headset too.
Yeah. It was for Horizon Forbidden or not for what is the name of the
No,
Horizon
Horizon
VR game?
Mountain.
of the Call. Mountain
Okay,
of Call.
yeah,
Or
Call
Call the
the
Mountain.
Call the Mountain.
Call
yeah.
the Mountain.
I knew it
Splinter
was something.
Splendiferous
Mountain
hit
of the
us.
call.
Splendiferous hit us with a $2 super chat. Shout out to
What up, Splen?
Splendiferous.
What's going on,
Says
brother?
glad we didn't show anything last time Sony doing that. Yeah. Maybe I don't know. I'm really not glad Xbox didn't show anything. I don't you can say the reasonings, right? Like the FTC thing, you know, CMA, EU, everybody watching, being used by Sony because all the regulators are apparent morons that just accept whatever Sony says is fact and push that through even as part of their arguments in the lawsuit against Microsoft. And so you can see, wow, that actually makes some sense. Where I find it interesting is that if that's the case, then why would you have a January show, right? Because you could have had those games at the Game Awards also. And I don't know. There's like a lot of reasons why it's like, I don't know. It just doesn't add up to me. And I think overall, if these are being so scrutinized anyway, I don't know how much more would have affected them to showcase games that were already announced. And I do feel like is a little bit of being sometimes too careful with this. I don't understand there's a lot of money on the line and the lawyers are
That's
making
$1 million
decisions.
attorneys, brother. It's $1 million
It's-
attorneys. They don't care.
It's
I know.
frustrating
you.
as an Xbox fan
I hear
to
you.
see this year that's gone by when we know they have so much. When we know they have so much, but not the most of the market's not people like us in the chat here on this panel. Most of the market are people that just casually tune into a show like the Game Awards, right? And they see that, and their perception is this is gaming, right? This is what to expect from gaming. This is the biggest game show of the year. And for Xbox to just have Game Pass ads and none of their first party stuff, period, it felt a little lackluster. And if they are planning a January show, I'm excited for that, right? I'll be very happy. Or if they're planning trailers or whatever they're doing, right? Or January, early February, whenever they do
We
that.
did get 10 more seconds of new Starfield footage, though.
Yeah.
Did you
If
see
look
that
closely.
one?
Yes.
That
yes.
actually Colt
yes.
put
Yeah,
it as
put them
a
all
GIF,
together. Yes.
and that there was a scene that I think it was a planet with a
Yeah.
fire going through. So, holy shit, that
Well,
was
the one that I noticed when they did the quick one was the silhouette of your character walking at the top of that hill with the trees, and there was like
Yes.
clouds in the back, and there's stars overhead, just limitless stars with big planets.
it
that looked
looks
freaking phenomenal.
it looks like that polish that they took from is paying off, and it's we're not even near release date. So we got what I'm saying. If
We
they're
are.
still going to do a second half or first half of 2023,
We are.
we're looking at least 4 or 5 months on top of, and that polish that they've already gotten.
Mhm.
Holy shit, this game is going to look fucking remarkable.
It is. And now the cards are on the table, Psycho. I don't think there's any chance they push it now. Cards are out. So
Yeah.
now that they know the FTC is going, it doesn't matter anymore. Now they will put those games out for sure.
And they have really nothing to stand on. So
No.
it's one of those
No.
things
But now
that,
that now that they know which way it's going, that's what I'm saying. Business has to move forward, and that's why I said the January was Plan B. They pulled everything from the Game Awards. The attorneys did, and I can guarantee you there was fights to not even have a showcase, and that's why they bumped the showcase back to 12 months. I can guarantee you that was the attorney. I can guarantee you the attorneys were pounding the table saying you can't do a showcase. There's no way you can show off these games because they already knew FTC, as stupid as the argument is, was going to go after the ZeniMax deal, right? And they I can guarantee you that happened. So the compromise was we'll pull from the Game Awards. We won't do the Game Awards. We've got to do a showcase. We'll cut it back to 12 months. Our third-party stuff at like the Tokyo Game Show, we have to move forward with that, with Persona, all that stuff coming into game. We got to show that stuff. That's going to happen. But the Game Awards we're pulling out of. And then they said, we'll have Plan B ready depending on which way this goes, because they knew by the end of this year they would have a good idea of what was going to happen. And so they had probably something for January or early February ready to go if the FTC or the EU or the CMA or all of them were going to say, we're going to block this, you guys are going to have to fight, because at that point it doesn't matter. And I think that's what they're doing right now is they're executing Plan B. January, early February, we will have like an XO type show.
I mean, but they've done that in December before, so it's not like abnormal for them to not have like a later show.
What?
No.
Xbox. They've done later shows in the year, like in December. I think like before COVID, I think there was one in 2019 in December, and then they did their
XO
20.
19.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then they did their 20 years in December.
Correct.
I think,
But
too.
that's why we didn't get like an XO this year, is because everything was off the
Yeah.
table this year until they figured out how this whole thing was going to go down, which way it was going to go. Because if they still had a chance to get it passed without concessions, and guarantee you going into next year, it would have been pretty quiet as well. Like up until like, hey, we got to get this game out, and then there would have been something about like Redfall. But now that the cards are out, now that they know they're gonna have to fight one way or the other, it doesn't matter anymore. Business gotta move forward now.
I'm curious about Fuzzy's take on this because he wasn't able to join us yesterday for yesterday's stream.
I know. It was
So-
very weird.
Yeah, we missed you, Fuzz.
I was naked.
but
I felt naked. Shit.
Well, I was so disappointed with the whole FTC thing. I was like, I should probably just sit back and relax and bite my tongue before I say stupid stuff.
Why? We had nice rants yesterday, Fuzzy. You should have joined us.
yeah, we went early and really went off on that.
Well, my big thing is me being the conspiracy theorist. I'm starting to wonder if some of these politicians and regulators aren't intentionally doing this block thing to drive the price down. Because if they miss purchasing ABK when it was back at the $63 to $68 range,
now they
then this would be the perfect way to get it back below 70.
Easier
So
way
you
for
make
them
a
to
full
money.
20 to 25 off of each share.
Yeah,
I'm not saying insider trading, but
that's what I heard. Fuzzy.
That's what it is, Fuzz.
I heard that. I put that out there at Hoag's Law's chat, and a couple people were like, just zipper mouth, like, nope, can't say shit about that. I'm like, okay, I must be close. If that's just crazy, fucking crazy that if this is what's happening, because that's why the injunction, there was just no injunctions were laid out. So it's like, if you're really, really trying to block this deal, you would have done so and not put in.
But Hoag kind of went into that, saying that maybe that's
but he can't come out and say yes, it's insider trading, because that's
but he did go into the reasoning why they don't necessarily need the injunction also, right? To get what they want out of this. But he also did say that the whole FTC case was complete bullshit and utterly had holes all through it, which also a former FTC commissioner did as well today on CNBC, which was a very interesting interview. But Fuzz, besides that, I mean, just like the Game Awards, Xbox's lack of presence. Like, did you have a chance to watch the Game Awards at all yet? Or
Yeah, I watched it, and I kind of knew that they weren't going to be there, but it seems silly to me because in the back of my mind, it's like you played this nice guy role, you listen to the lawyers, which obviously is a good thing to do, but it's like, where did it get you? It got you into the same place where probably if you had shown at least the stuff that you've already announced, the stuff you've already talked about. And I understand, yes, that they're scrutinizing the ZeniMax deal all over again, years later, and making up stuff about they promised that they wouldn't take. No, they didn't. They said where Game Pass exists, and if Game Pass doesn't exist, you're not taking anything away. But that's nor here nor there. But like with I was expecting to at least see more of Forza, more of Starfield, and more of Redfall. Those three, and maybe even Age of Empires because of it coming to console. Show that
next month.
Yeah, I mean, show that stuff because it's
Yeah.
imminent within a certain amount of time. It's going to be, or it should be, before the next E3. You've already said so. Just show an update.
And you're going to release those games, so isn't that worse than actually showing a trailer? You know what I mean? So it's like, I get what you're saying too, Fuzz. Like, I think that's where I came from. I wasn't asking them for huge, big new game announcements and all these things.
Right.
But Redfall kind of teased on Twitter. Shout out to Alvin with a $5 super chat. Appreciate you, Alvin. He says, Redfall Twitter, which hasn't tweeted since Halloween, tweeted a GIF just before the TGAs. Maybe a trailer was planned and pulled last second. I don't know. They did say, can you smell this GIF or something like that? Which is like, or you can almost smell this. It made it seem like something was close, right? I don't know, man. We didn't hear anything from Xbox until after the show when obvious fan disappointment was showing up everywhere. And Aaron Greenberg tweeted, "Hear that glad everybody's excited to know about our games, and we're
going to have to wait too long.
You won't have to wait too long.
Timing is everything," he said.
Yeah.
So
what does that mean? And that's also something we had Insane Cakes and 3-Bit on the show last night on our co-stream. And it was awesome to have Insane Cakes here. He is actually a dev that works with Microsoft and ZeniMax Online team, and also 3-Bit works contract stuff, does stuff with Microsoft as well, which is pretty cool, right? And they couldn't really say anything. Obviously, they can't tell us anything, but I almost got the feeling that he knew something was coming, but couldn't really say. You know what I mean? And because there was a lot more calm. You know what I mean? And maybe that's because they know more what's behind the scenes. While I was losing my shit, I did lose my shit last night. Everybody, I mean, after the show, I was extremely frustrated. I had already lost my voice, and just seeing that PlayStation State of Play showcase Game Awards show presented by Xbox Game Pass on Samsung was very, very frustrating to sit through for that long. Even though there was still a lot of good stuff, just as an Xbox gamer and I'll say, I mean, Xbox fan of the Xbox platform. I felt like it was a bad decision to decide, for whatever reason, not to show up in any meaningful way, period, on such a grand stage, biggest stage in gaming for these years. So, but, Aaron Greenberg did allude to the fact that there's something coming. I don't know what that is. I wanted to ask that now. What is it? I mean, is it a January showcase of some sort, a late December one, a January one? Is it are just going to drop some trailers? Are they going to reveal the release dates on the Starfield, Redfall, and Forza Motorsport?
If they can give the Forza one, that's the one that I still wonder about. But
yeah, that one I think is off. I wouldn't say off track, but it's definitely
the later
behind where they would probably like to be.
It'll probably be the latest one out of all three.
Yeah.
If everything goes according to plan, they probably will be the one that's the latest. I think, Matt, that it's definitely going to be a showcase. I think that the attorneys from Microsoft were led to believe that they had a real good shot at turning a vote within the FTC for sure. Jez said he's heard that they've had positive talks with the CMA, so we'll have to see about that. We saw the EU come out today and kind of, back up Microsoft a little bit today.
Crazy.
Which was a little interesting. Yes, that's a little interesting. Now, again, there's some disputing about whether or not both, the FTC could have read things differently and it wasn't a bold-faced lie, but we can talk about that.
Guarantee you they didn't read it.
No, I can guarantee you too. And that's what I was just bringing up. I think Microsoft's attorneys were led to believe that they had a shot at actually getting this to clear without going to battle. But I think that Hogue pointed out best from reading the complaint that the complaint sounded like it had been written weeks ago, that this complaint was already written before they finally came out and told Microsoft what was going to happen, because they didn't even mention the 10-year deals that Microsoft offered in the complaint or anything close to that. Some of the stuff that's happened over these past couple weeks here, nothing about any of that current stuff. So Hogue's opinion is this was already decided, that Lena had decided long ago she was going to do this no matter what, and that there was no turning the tide. So I think that's where they're at. But I think definitely from Greenberg's tweet, and like you guys just pointed out, with Redfall tweeting out something just prior to the Game Awards, I think there is something very soon. Most of Microsoft goes on vacation in December, so I don't think we're going to get anything at the end of December, and they'll all be working on the FTC stuff and the CMA and EU stuff, whoever's left. So I think January, towards the end of January, beginning of February, that is my best guess. But I do think we get a showcase. I think they give us a Redfall and a Starfield release date for sure. If they can pin down Forza, then we'll get a Forza one too. But we'll probably just more likely get an update on Forza, maybe some new stuff, new gameplay. But I think they're going to do kind of a big deal for those three for sure. And we'll probably, depending on when it is, Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition is going to be due out at the end of January. So if it's before that, we'll probably see more of that as well. But I definitely think it's going to be a bigger show. Now, whether or not they give us some fall stuff or updates on Avowed or Hellblade or Fable, that's questionable. But I think for the stuff that is due, they are going to update us on that for sure.
Okay. I hope we get some kind of actual little showcase.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the one problem is sometimes Xbox likes to do those things where they show you like where they show you a 30-second trailer and they talk 15 minutes about it. It's like, come on, like.
Yeah. Shout out to Crazy Louie again, Xbox International Podcast. Is this what's DOP? I don't know what the name of the currency is. I'm sorry, but 100 DOPs. Appreciate you. I'm sure it's Dominican
pesos. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's pesos.
Dominican pesos. Right on. Appreciate it, Louis. Paris retweeted on an Xbox showcase in January. Yeah. So, yeah, it seems like there is something to that. Again, Paris did say something on Twitter. I've seen a couple people mentioning that. I didn't actually see the tweet personally, but I saw a couple people talking about that. And you combine that with Aaron Greenberg's thing. Jez also said on Xbox 2 today that he thought he had heard something about that. That also kind of alludes to what I said about the way that Insane Cakes kind of was acting on the show last night when we were talking about why a no show for Xbox, and I was ranting and stuff. And I think that this time will pass, and obviously, like, we'll forget how bad of a day yesterday was, right? And he said ultimately won't matter, but
he said specifically they're going to wait to show things until closer to when they're ready.
Yes.
So that was his words. That's
Insane Cakes yesterday.
Right. Yeah, that's as far as he could go.
Yeah. So, they want to wait till closer till they're ready. Which does that mean that we get a special thing about Redfall, then a special thing about Starfield, then a special thing about Forza before the release dates?
I would say you get those like dev deep dives, like maybe an hour stream or whatever, where they show a little bit new gameplay and they talk for like 30 minutes or whatever about it. Like,
right. And I don't mind those necessarily. It's just
but if this January showcase, if that's what it will be, it could be what's going to be coming in 2023.
I
maybe
don't think
up
they go
to-
past. They don't go past E3. They stick with that 12 months. That
exactly.
they've laid out.
They're going to show new stuff of what's going to be announced up to third party and first party up to E3. This is what, because it's nothing new. If they're still trying to keep, be not just trying to keep the FTC in check, saying give them ammunition, like, oh, look at this new game that you just announced, so definitely we'll see, games that have been announced, but new Redfall trailer, Starfield, man, that looks, clip it again. Holy shit. I'll find it on Twitter and I'll post it on Twitter again, and so people can see it. It is that just 4, 5, 6 seconds of what they did show. It just looked gorgeous, and that is, and it's not, just imagine what it would be in 4K when they do a trailer, and I think it's going to really fucking take people by surprise of what they have been able to do up to this point, and give us an announcement. It could be sooner than, because I was on the boat that it would, if it wasn't going to go past June, it was going to be a May release. It could be even sooner than that. It could be Redfall in February or January, early January or late January, I should say, and then maybe in April of Starfield, because there's nothing really in April being announced. Everything's like June, February for some reason. Like February is so stacked right now. It's fucking crazy. But yeah, there hasn't really been March and April. It kind of like there's haven't been any games really announced so much in April. I know that, but March, I think there's 1 or 2 titles that are coming, but it's just gonna be nuts. It sucks that we didn't get nothing, but again, it's one of those things that, if they were told by the lawyers, it's like it just really sucks. We didn't get something in last night, but again, if they do show up with a January showcase, holy fuck, it will be, because they did, Aaron Greenberg's tweet did say you're not gonna have to wait too long. So
yeah,
let's just hope it's not the end of January and it's more.
Yeah, I think they need to make an announcement on whatever that is soon. I think that'll help. We'll see.
Maybe do it during the holidays, because a lot of the government and Microsoft goes on vacation during December, so they might,
wait till everybody gets back and put it together
before they get back. So this way they're on vacation, they can air it, and maybe they miss it or whatever.
The only way it comes out in December is if they just show trailers. If they're going to talk about anything, it's not coming out in December.
What'd you say, babe?
Nothing.
Wrap it up.
Oh, okay.
I was joking. I said wrap it up,
you...
Christopher Judge.
I was going to show you this. Do you see this one?
Would love
I don't.
to think.
Is it
that
a
a dog?
dog?
It is.
Aww.
Yeah.
Eat its ass.
I love it.
Anyway.
Oh, did you see that doc? What was that game with the dachshund?
Party animals?
No. It was
it was that girl that was rescuing the planet, and she brought that dachshund, like his spirit,
the
back to
ghost
life.
thing.
Yeah, the ghost. Yeah.
And we were like, this is a fucking Caitlin's game, because Caitlin, I think she wasn't. She was.
I might not have been watching at that point.
You're taking care of the baby.
So let's get into this FTC bullshit.
After Us, I think, with the little girl who was like wearing a white suit.
After Us. Yeah, that was. It's coming on Xbox, Kate.
Nice.
So
yeah, sorry.
FTC is suing Microsoft to attempt to block the deal without an injunction, which I honestly don't know how much that matters or whatnot. I don't know. People are making a lot about that, but supposedly, I guess Microsoft could still close the deal if they wanted to, but then it wouldn't make sense to. Some people say as well. I don't know. Some are thinking this is just a ploy to get more concessions out of Microsoft, and to look like a winner and still hold your feet to the fire. I don't know. Also, August 2023 is when a evidentiary hearing is scheduled for. We'll obviously know more about the CMA and the EU well before then. And you're talking about in the next month or two, probably, or maybe 3 months from those two. So, FTC, Lena Khan, trying to make a case that no merger of big tech pretty much should be allowed. No acquisition of big tech pretty much should be allowed. It seems like, regardless of the facts out there, even going as far as using unfactual information in their actual documents of reasoning for the lawsuit. Even made that public on Twitter with their reasoning as well. So, guys, Pong is. I want to get to Pong first because I have a feeling. I don't know if you've calmed down at all about this, but yesterday you had an epic rant on our show before the Game Awards, and I feel like maybe more stuff has happened between then and now, as far as like stuff has come out. You know, you had the CNBC interview with the former FTC chair.
Stuff came out today should piss you off even more.
Yes, we had, the EU coming out and almost in Xbox's defense with one thing, which was really weird. Hogue Law picked this thing apart since then. A lot of stuff has happened as we've gotten some more information. So, how do you feel right now about it? Do you still think this is going to go through?
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this is without a doubt, unless Microsoft decides to walk away. And there is supposedly a shareholders meeting next week. Some people got emails today for a shareholders meeting, which could be a couple different things, right? They could walk away from the deal. There's different dates. Hogue broke down the dates. I don't remember them specifically, where this deal gets more expensive for Microsoft as far as walking away from it. So there is potential that they could decide, hey, this ain't worth it. We'll change course, but we're going to have to eat, $2 billion. And then, of course, that's going to take a shareholders vote. They can't just go ahead and do that. So that could be a potentiality, or they could be preparing the shareholders, for the fight and letting them know that they still have high confidence in this deal and that they, are going to push forward with it. It's going to cost money, obviously, huge legal fees, depending on whether CMA and EU also join this fray. We'll see how that pans out. But right now, they know for sure they're going to have to go with the FTC. So I still think the deal goes through. Look, the FTC has exposed themselves completely, 100%. If anybody had any doubts about what motivates Lena Khan and her crew right now, at least the Democrat side, because remember, one seat, which is supposed to be filled by Republican, is empty right now. They're holding it empty right now. So the way it stands right now, it's Democrat controlled. So if anybody has any question about what this is, you shouldn't anymore. If you listen to any of the breakdowns, Hogue did a freaking amazing job reading through the entire, I think it's 24 pages of the complaint today. And really picking it apart from a legal standpoint. And sure, you can say, well, Hogue, does like, Xbox, but he plays on everything and he comes at these things from just a straight up legal standpoint. As far as if he was looking at this, what would he see from all of his, expertise, all of his years? What would this look like to an attorney from his firm or himself? And this is a complete joke. This is a bigger joke than most people even thought, including myself. They are legitimately, you can even remove the lie, not lie, whatever thing you want to say.
Yeah.
From my standpoint, with how agenda-based this all is, there's no question that they read it the way they wanted to read it. And you could say, well, it's potentially they could have. No, they read it the way they wanted to, knowing full well that people might say that they lied about things, whatever. that is the main crux of their argument is there. So, but we can even set that aside. Let's look at the rest of it. And again, I'm not Hogue, so go watch Hogue's video. I'm just a gamer, whatever. But the things that I picked up from Hogue today is they legitimately are going up and beyond the rules of law as they are written. They are trying to create new rules on the fly. And that's supposed to be done through legislation. For anybody who doesn't understand how this is supposed to work, you're supposed to go and get voted on if you want to change the rules of engagement for monopolies. That has not happened. Well, Lena Khan and her cronies think that they can just go ahead and expand the FTC's power without going through the obvious proper channels. And that's exactly what they're attempting to do. They have decided that they can go ahead and nullify Nintendo from the actual video game market, saying that they aren't up to par with
They aren't
PlayStation.
high-end consoles.
They weren't high-end consoles. Thank you, Jasper. They're not high-end consoles.
Well,
And they're trying to separate.
part of that's true.
Yes,
just
but
kidding.
yeah, but we know,
yes.
we know what they're trying to do.
Yeah,
Why they're
100%.
trying to do that is because if they get that done, if they actually go before their internal judge and convince their internal judge, and again, that's where it's going, folks. They did not bring this to federal court.
Mhm.
And there's a reason why they didn't bring it to federal court, because as Hogue said, that federal court would blast this complaint. Like, there is no rule of law basis for almost the entire complaint. But if they can get Nintendo nixed out of the conversation of what we're dealing with here, that leaves Sony and Xbox alone. Now that all of a sudden gives you a lot bigger percentage of the pie to say that Microsoft has the potential for a monopoly. And that's why they want to exclude Nintendo. But that's not, you can't just arbitrarily do that. And again, when they wrote out the complaint and Hogue went point by point, when they're trying to rewrite this and when they're trying to get rid of Nintendo, they actually contradict themselves later on. And they avoid also some very basic facts about video games and about the games that are actually on Nintendo. And again, they didn't even in this complaint acknowledge, which is why Hogue thinks it was written weeks ago, if not months ago. They didn't even acknowledge Microsoft saying they're going to put Call of Duty onto Nintendo, which is one of the big arguments about this as well. So again, this is political grandstanding in its greatest form. This is actually one person, Lena Khan, attempting to promote herself through the political ranks by abusing her power completely.
Oh yeah.
And it's not even close. We're not even talking about, she's kind of walking the gray area here. No. The FTC is barging through the gray area straight into the black and saying we don't care. And this is awful. So what they're trying to do here is force Microsoft to probably walk away. Because if they do take this all the way, which could take years potentially, because again, there's an appeals process that once the FTC gets their internal ruling, the internal ruling agrees with Lena, then Microsoft can appeal it. It's this big, long process, and they could eventually wind up to the Supreme Court if it had to go all the way there. So we're talking about potentially years. Does Microsoft think this is worth it or not? Well, that's what we're about to find out. But I think they've got a good chance of winning. And I think that there's questions of whether or not Lena is looking for concessions, if concessions would even do anything at this point, or if she's committed that she's going to take this until she takes the loss.
She thought concessions was like a popcorn stand outside.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. So again, my rant still stands last night. Actually doubles from last night. F this administration. This is a complete abuse of power. Lena Khan, is serving this role because of this current administration. This is absolutely the government overstepping bounds. As I said last night, this is what you get with big government. Again, everybody likes the idea of big government. Well, not everybody, not all of us, but a lot of people like the idea of big government taking care of you. Well, guess what? Big government, this is what it happens. And now it's again encroached in my hobby. This is video games, folks. And yes, I know it's big business. Obviously, I talk about that all the time. We won't have video games if there's not money involved. And this is the biggest deal of all time. So I understand all of that. But this abuse of power, I cannot stand. This is flat out wrong. And again, it's holding back the industry from moving forward. And again, my stance on Sony still stands from last night as well. Sony, for me personally, I don't care what anybody else thinks. You all have your own opinions. Anyways, Sony for me has now put me off so far to the point where I don't intend upon buying a PlayStation 5 this generation. They have done the unforgivable in my point of view. I understand they're protecting their business. I've talked about that plenty. I've even been defense of Jim in some of his comments. I'm saying, look, if I was in his position, I'd be doing a lot of this too. But what they've done to use what they know are favorable positions from political parties within certain regulatory bodies and gone up and beyond the norm to not only trash Xbox, but to trash a lot of the industry. Talking about how Nintendo, again, we're not going to talk about Nintendo because they're not even a player, okay? To go ahead and disrespect all this industry that they've done and hold it back from moving forward simply because they want to remain king and they want to write the rules. So if the industry is going to change, the industry is going to change when Sony says so, not when Xbox says so. They're holding this all back. The future is inevitable. Technology has moved forward. Just because Sony made the decisions that they did in the last generation to ignore what there is no way people getting paid that much money should not have seen coming technology-wise when it comes to streaming, and we know they didn't because they invested $300 million into Gaikai before anybody else thought about it, but they chose to ignore all of this. And now, because of those bad decisions, are coming back to bite them in the ass. They got the gall to sit around and hold back the entire industry because they want to remain number one. That is freaking unforgivable from my point of view as far as what video games need to do to continue to push forward. They are afraid of competition. They are afraid of Microsoft taking number one spot because that will relegate them to number three because Nintendo ain't giving up that number two, number one spot. And again, we can have that conversation about Nintendo. I think actually Microsoft's plans could put them ahead of Nintendo at some point in overall when we're talking about revenue and profit. The point being is Sony is the anchor right now, and they're doing nothing to help push this industry forward. As I said last night, they were a disruptor, much like Microsoft at one point. They were out here creating games that none of us had seen before. They had this huge, diverse lineup, PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 for sure. Some of the best lineups you've ever seen. They were paying third parties to create crazy games like the 360 generation, like Xbox was. They were having their own studios go out there and be creative and do all this stuff. They gave all that up to have third-person, narrative-heavy driven cinematic games. Great. It was a huge success. But you gave up all your creativeness. You sold your soul for that and then got yourself locked into a position where you get to rely on third parties. And now that somebody's coming along with the big bank because you woke up Godzilla, because you decided that you had to keep poking the bear over and over again, and you thought you had killed that bear, and you started to walk away from it, and all of a sudden it woke up, and all he did was make it more angry once Microsoft figured out what they were doing with Game Pass and xCloud. Now all of a sudden that bear's chasing you, and you know you're losing ground fast, and that big bear is gobbling up third-party studios that you depend upon because you sacrificed your own library. Sorry, man. Doesn't fly for me. I'm in this video game industry to enjoy video games. I choose every time. I own all consoles, well, except for Nintendo. But I own the other two at some point during a generation. And I always start with one that gives me the most value and that's speaking the most to me. And Xbox did it this generation. Last generation was PlayStation out the gate. This generation, it was Xbox. But I had a PlayStation 5. I sold it because I couldn't afford it. I couldn't justify the cost. But I was planning on getting another one. But now at this point, with what Sony's pulled for me personally, I'm not going to invest in Sony anymore. My next big purchase is a PC so I can do content creation. And I'm going to play my Sony games. Any Sony games I want to play, I'm going to play on that PC. I'm not going to give them that console money. I'm not going to go do that. I'm not going to invest in PlayStation Plus or any of those services that they may offer at this point until they change this attitude, because we're back to the PlayStation 3 era when they literally got up on stage. And that's why I said what I said before. They literally were on stage. Ken, He got up there and said, this generation doesn't start until we say it starts. That's the arrogance we got right now, in a different way with Jim. But Jim believes that he has a right to the number one spot. And that's not how business works. Adapt or die. And Sony chose not to adapt.
Yep.
And that's their fault. And now they're trying to point the finger at Microsoft just because Microsoft has a bigger bank. Just because Microsoft can go out of their way and do more business-wise than Sony can. And even with Xbox extending a hand and saying, we want to keep the biggest franchise on your system, they turn around and spit on it and walk away. That doesn't fly with me, folks. This video game industry is the biggest it's ever been, more money flowing into it than it's ever been before. It's all because we had a healthy industry. Sony wants to take that health and destroy it. Sony, if they could have killed off Xbox, they would have done it.
Oh,
In
yeah.
fact, there's rumors that they had plans to do it this generation out the gate, but the pandy got in their way and they couldn't bury Xbox the way they wanted to.
Yep.
I don't doubt for a minute that that's not true. Sony could care less. Phil's real. As much as you want to say, well, Phil talks out of sight, you can have whatever conversation you want about Phil. But Phil's real when he talks about having the big three as healthy as possible. And that's the strength of this industry. And he does not want to see it go away because he does not want to see a Tencent, a China-controlled company, walk in here and take that spot. And we have no idea what they would do. He does not want that. And I can guarantee you that is real. And here's Jim fighting against it, hoping to kill off this deal so that he can put Microsoft in another position where they're still behind the 8 ball trying to play catch up. Just because Jim wants his way after he decided to make the decisions that they weren't going to think about the future and move forward with the rest of the industry. That's on Sony. So again, Sony's not getting my money from that route anymore this generation as of right now. Unless they change their tune, it's not going to happen. And this political nonsense, again, I toned down the rhetoric here. I got away from one community to get away from that. And here it is invading this community. I hate it. And like I said, I'm toning it down right now. I can say a lot more than I am right now, but I'm just going to say elections have consequences, folks. And all the times that you think about, oh, they're going to do this great stuff for me, just remember, there ain't no friends in politics. These people don't care about us. Okay, they don't. And they can come trotting into something as stupid as video games and ruin everything. And that's exactly what's trying to happen here for their own gain, not for good reasons, for their own gain.
Yep.
And I'm sick and tired of it. So I'm not cooled off, man.
And it's fucking bullshit because there's so much that they're doing more. There's more harm, especially with the CWA and the unions at Activision.
They don't care. They don't care about any of that.
I know, and it sucks because
they acted like they did at first, which was bullshit.
They did
right?
because
and then you look at Warren and Bernie's tweets today, and you know for a fact how shallow they all are. They're so fucking shallow.
And then
they can care less.
That's the bullshit. It's like, okay, you're trying to block this deal, and this deal is going to be it's going to be well for so many factors. It's the employees alone, because if the Activision deal gets blocked, they can definitely lay off a lot of employees because they're not going to have the money to sustain all the people that they have there. And then what's going to happen? It's going to, if they bankrupt, then no one's going to have fucking COD unless they sell that off to somebody. And this is what the FTC and the CMA and the EU need to look at the human element of this all. That there's people behind this corporation. There's families. This is an American company that is trying to survive, and you're trying to block it because it's not in your because it doesn't benefit you, because you want to make a statement saying, oh, look at me, I stopped big tech. Well, guess what?
They're trying to send a message to big tech. So I hope that people take note and remember this, like Pong was saying, with the next election, when if this deal has to fall apart and Activision lays off people, I hope they remember those senators and regulators, and when the election
people have
comes
the memory
back,
of a goldfish. Once this passes, no one's gonna even remember this shit.
True, but it just boggles my mind. I don't know. I really wish there was more transparency on their investing, and I really would like to see if the share price drops below 70. I want to see who buys it of any of these senators or regulators. I want to see if they buy any shares, and if they do, it needs to be brought to the forefront in the public or made public knowledge. That's all I got. I mean,
on it. We got to get Louis into the show here. I got to welcome you also, Louis. Thanks for hopping in, bro. Thanks for taking the square down there. Welcome.
Thank you. I want to ask you all a question, though. I mean, what is Sony thinking? Because at the end of the day, if this deal does not go through, do you think that Bobby Kotick is going to sit down and renegotiate with them any other contracts? Seriously,
no. Dude. I don't think Sony cares at this point. I think
they don't care.
At this point, they already scorched earth, and they're going to look at possibly bringing SOCOM back, but this will give them that time.
Sony won't bring it back if they keep Call of Duty.
But the thing is, they're not going to keep it because Bobby Kotick is going to say, "Screw you."
I think they still get Call of Duty, but
they still get Call of Duty. Microsoft will have the marketing rights, though, for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah, with SOCOM, they have to actually invest money into it. With Call of Duty, they can just rack that as profit.
Another thing, though, if the FTC has been caught lying right now, right? Because the EU Commission came out and said, no, it wasn't like this. Do they still hold off in court with the lies they said?
No, if it goes to court, that'd be, I believe, perjury.
Perjury, exactly. Yeah.
They can't.
It's. I think it probably
stick with the lie.
They can probably.
It's the American government. They can bullshit something.
They can skid through that. That's already been explained actually by numerous people, experts on the legal stuff. That it's not even Hogue. Hogue had a whole thread on how this technically could not be used as a lie and everything like that. But regardless, it's still half truths, right? And half lies. And even without that, this whole thing is riddled with just bullshit. Now the question is, how much does this affect the deal, right? How much does this actually affect the deal? Pong was saying if this goes the full length, it goes 5 years. That's not good for any of us. But does it still get closed in the process at that point, and then they get fought afterwards, or does it actually take that long to close?
It takes that long to close. Yeah.
So, but Microsoft obviously won't want that. Activision Blizzard obviously won't want that.
Didn't Amazon do that with MGM or whatever? They just said "fuck your rules" and they just said we're doing it anyway.
They called out the FTC to make a decision and gave them a deadline. And when they didn't, that's when they just went forward with it. Yeah. But the FTC made their decision now. So
yeah,
I mean, MS could just do that too.
I mean, said they're not going to close over this, though. They won't close.
Politically, I mean, I've always been very in the middle. I agree with some things from one side. I agree with some things from the other side. I hate this. The biggest thing I hate about politics is there's no compromise. Right? It's always take everything or nothing. Right? And it's bullshit. I honestly hate politicians and politics because of all this stuff. And that goes for both parties. Certain aspects I like about one, certain aspects I like about the other. You guys can guess what that is. I'm not going to get into it. But I will say, this is clear as day. Political grandstanding.
Yeah.
From the 3 Democratic voters in the FTC that actually pushed this through to a block. And
was it pushed? Were all 3 pushed? Because I thought it was a 2-2.
No, the 3 Democrats voted to.
It was a 3-1
to block.
They had hope. Yeah, they had hope to flip one, and that if it was a 2-2 lock, it would have passed. That's a lock. So
that would have been the issue, right? So the whole Democratic Party went behind this deal to block it, right? It became a political issue at that point. This deal is being politicized. It's being used for political gain to make a case for a party, as opposed to actually looking at it for the facts of the matter. And any time you do that, it actually has detriment to the actual people, right? So here I am, a consumer, right? Many of us are going to be affected if this deal gets blocked in a negative way. Games are not going to be on Game Pass. They're not going to be able to put as many games where they want to. Nintendo gamers aren't going to get Call of Duty, right? All of these different situations are actually going to play out if this were to get blocked. The employees from ABK get hurt.
That's the biggest.
And
That's the biggest thing.
And as somebody like that has been at times sided with certain parties over certain issues, this is clear as day. Like I can't get behind this. You know what I mean? I can't get behind this because that's everything I'm against. Is if you make a case because of your affiliation as opposed to the facts. If you make a case because of affiliation, it's bullshit.
They know that if they can block this deal, that's just like a major step in their political career. They can start running for some stupid office,
which is horseshit. This is the reason I don't like politics. Yeah. The reason I don't like politics, the reason I don't trust any politicians, anybody that wants to be in these positions of power, are always
they're doing it for selfish means instead of actually thinking about things.
And I think that a lot of times that goes away for both parties. But in this case, the FTC is actually being ran by the Democratic Party, and they're using that because they're on their agenda list, right? It's on the agenda list. Point blank, period. This is on the FTC's agenda list, which is being ran by Democrat, have 3-1 Democrat right now, right? So there's no way about this this is a political issue. This has become a political issue as more than it is an actual issue about the industry, and that's the most biggest bullshit about this thing. I hate that a deal like this that is actually, if you look at it across the facts, across the entire thing, there's nothing about this that would be found detrimental to consumers. It's been proven by Microsoft, even with deals through third-party companies like Nintendo with Steam, as well as, guess what? Who cares if PlayStation, as a competitor, loses money from this? They are not going to be out of the business unless they actually choose to. In the fact, what Pong was saying, if they actually do go out of business, it's their own wrongdoing for not innovating. And if PlayStation, I'll say this, I think this deal goes through, right? I think I'm like 70, 80% chance now. I was like 99, right? But now I'm like
the only
70
doubt
to 80.
comes from like whatever judge they pick. Like at the end of the day, the judge could be
but
like some selfish asshole too. So
if it gets to that point, right? If it gets to that point, I don't know if it'll get to that point. I think it depends on a lot what the EU and the CMA say, right? It depends on what the EU and the CMA. It depends on what happens there also, right? So if it's only up to the FTC and the last ones barking at this and everything like that, and they agreed to concessions with the EU and the CMA, maybe they agreed to some of those same concessions with the FTC. Maybe the lawyers make a good case to them ahead of time. Maybe they offer more concessions or whatever and get this deal done, and it never goes that far. However, if this deal does get blocked, at this point, Sony has become the enemy of innovation in the industry. Sony has become the thing in your path to be able to run your business the way you see that you want to. Sony has gotten in your way. Where Xbox has wanted to play nice with Sony in the past, where Xbox has wanted to coexist with Sony in the past, where Xbox thought it was actually more beneficial for them to Sony being in the marketplace. All of a sudden, no longer is it beneficial for Sony to be in the same marketplace if they are blocking the innovation that Microsoft wants to put forward in the industry going forward to have Game Pass and to have games in their subscription services and move forward. And I think Xbox will change their tune and they will play by the rules that seem to be okay by the FTC and the EU and the CMA, the Sony rules that they have alluded to that are okay, the buying of exclusive for third-party content to put on your platforms, the blocking of things, raising prices on hardware, all these different situations. I think Xbox all of a sudden stops playing nice with Sony. They start doing those deals that Sony's been doing the last 20 years. They start doing those again. They used to. They stopped. They wanted to play nice. I think Brad Smith talking more about not playing nice more than just with the regulators. If this doesn't go through, I think they're not going to be playing nice with the business anymore either. And guess what? Who has way bigger pockets than Sony does to offer the exclusivity deals? Who has way deeper pockets to offer all of these publishers more money? Who also has a growing subscription service where they're willing to put their games day one on as well? Who has that? Microsoft. And if that's what you got to do to grow your library instead of buying a $70 billion company, that's what they're going to do. They're going to have $67 billion freed up in a cold, hard cash that they were planning to use in the gaming industry. Are they going to use it all on just third-party deals? No, but they'll split it up and they'll use a good portion of that to block out Sony from being able to compete in the way that they've been doing and the way that the FTC, the CMA, and the EU tend to say, that's okay. We don't care about what you're doing. We're going to go ahead and block Microsoft from growing and competing with you. Guess what? Sony going to get fucked if this doesn't go through. They're going to get fucked either way. And not only are they looking weak as hell right now, but either one way, ABK goes to Xbox, Call of Duty rights go to Xbox. They lose that brand recognition with Call of Duty. It's still going to be on the platform. They're going to lose money, right? Other way, I almost think is worse for Sony. I almost honestly think is worse for Sony, because if you unleash Microsoft, and I've already seen some people say, if Microsoft doesn't close this deal, Microsoft just get out of the Xbox business. I'm saying, like,
What?
yeah, I've seen it. I've seen
That
it. People
doesn't make
say,
No,
that's
that's
get
no.
out of the Xbox business. I've already seen people say that. I think they're going to double down on this, and they're going to be angry, and they're going to release their money where they can find the most success, and that's in the other avenues. They're just going to change the way they do business. Guess what?
Yep.
Roadblocks, you maneuver, right? Been done in business many times before. And if there's a certain playing field that's laid out, that's already agreed upon, that's safe to use, they'll use those paths, but they will use them way stronger than Sony ever could. And I fear for Sony in that regard.
Now, I have a question for you guys. If I'm not sure if anyone knows, but is Microsoft able to invest into the ABK and be a major shareholder if this deal does not go through, to at maybe at another point in time, let's say when the administration changes, if whoever wins the presidential race?
I think
and
they
the
said they have to
FTC
renegotiate. Like, if this doesn't
They
pass,
do.
they have to renegotiate
Yes.
in June. So, like, anytime
Right.
after June, they can propose a new deal or whatever.
There would
So-
be nothing stopping them from doing that. Just like the investment that Ubisoft just took, it would just be up to the board. It would be up to the shareholders to sell, parts of their shares. Like Microsoft would go to the major holders and say, "Hey, we want to buy this X percentage of your shares." They could certainly do that. There's nothing that says they can't do that for sure.
Mhm.
That's what Sony did
So-
with From. I mean, all that.
Yeah.
Stuff,
So I would just wonder if they're able, if they go that route to hold on to it, come back at another point with a different administration, and then just go through the whole process again. And
But that depends
Um,
also on what happens in 2 years as well, right? Like with that whole vote.
yeah, but they can now be relieved of what being held from acquiring other studios, smaller studios that certain affinity.
The thing is,
And-
I don't think that, like, that whole $68 billion, like, if it gets freed up, like, it's not all going to gaming.
No,
like,
it'll be split. They'll get a portion of
No,
it
yeah.
to be easy to use, right? But
Microsoft will split that up and be like, well, we can buy this $400 million AI program,
Mhm.
whatever, stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
it
they'll
won't
do
necessarily all
some.
go to gaming.
No, exactly.
they'll
But
wait.
I
They'll
mean,
wait for Activision to fall and then buy it on fire sale. That's what'll happen.
Because if
that
they
too.
just hold that money, they're just wasting money.
Yeah,
Like,
they
so-
can't hold the money.
yeah.
No, it's
No,
definitely going to be spent.
they
That's for
have to
sure.
spend it. That's the thing. So I just that's what I wonder. It's just if they are able to invest into the ABK and that way, and then maybe go back at it another time. And
I have to tell you, just
while
start a studio and hire every fucking Sony developer that exists and put them all in one studio. Just
Well,
say
you-
offer contracts out the ass. We'll give you
Oh.
2 times
they
your
did that with-
pay. Let's go.
Here-
Come on board.
I found Microsoft. Listen to this. I found a way around it. You just go to Activision in private and be like, okay, what you're gonna do is you're gonna close down Activision, and we're gonna open up a new studio in your same building and call it Activision Plus. So it's a new name.
Exactly. Yeah.
just call it ABK.
Yeah, we're gonna. Hey,
X Division.
former Naughty Dog employees, come here. We're gonna form a studio called Good Dog, and you're gonna come
Good
here,
Dog.
and we're gonna make third-person action-adventure games. Insomniac devs, hey, we're gonna
Well rusted.
yeah, we're gonna come. We're gonna say Always Sleeps Studios, and like let's go. You're Drew Murray's back at Xbox, but with twice the pay. I'm kidding, obviously, but like you never know what could happen, man. And it's like, if they really decided to, Microsoft could really fuck over Sony. It's just they've been playing nice all along. They've been playing nice because they are actually trying to not overstep within the gaming industry to a degree. they're trying to do different things and innovate. But they have the support of Satya and Microsoft behind their backs, and they're willing to spend $70 billion in an acquisition. You best believe they're going to be willing to spend some money to shove it in the face of Sony if they get this deal blocked. I really think
I want to know what happened with the Bethesda acquisition, because behind the scenes with that, because that was $7.5 billion, and
it wasn't on anybody's radar. That was the thing. It was a private company, and at that point, $7 billion didn't seem, from a political standpoint, it didn't seem like an attention-getting thing. Different administration as well, but also
oh yeah, that wasn't it?
Because at that point you had to worry more about what was the other issue.
But here's the thing though, Fuzzy.
Using people's debt. Yeah, using people's data or whatever.
But here's the thing though, Fuzzy. I mean, when Sony bought Bungie, they did not ask them for contracts or anything. Like I said the other day, I was saying that. I mean, they didn't ask. Nobody asked them nothing. Nobody asked them questions. Sony said, "Hey, we're gonna make it available for everybody." But okay, why didn't FTC jump in and say, "Okay," and try to say, "Hey, you need to make contracts. You need to do this. You need to do that." It's all only on Microsoft,
because Sony's not a tech company,
right?
Oh, they're not.
Like right now, the biggest
not like
problem,
Microsoft, not like Microsoft.
Well, the biggest problem is from a regulator standpoint, they want to send a message to big tech. Let's just name the ones that they want to send a message to. They want to send a message to Facebook. They want to send a message to Google, Apple. And they want to send a message to Apple. Now, they're less likely to send a message to Apple because Apple is what a lot of them use. So they're not. They're not.
What about
it's
Windows?
Almost like Sony.
Windows
so they're not as targeted. But Facebook. Yeah, they don't like Zuckerberg, and a lot of people don't like him for good
I don't like
reason. He
Zuckerberg.
seems like a robot.
They do when they use him to censor stuff, Fuzzy.
but it's one of those things where
censor that notebook.
Yeah, exactly.
Or laptop, sorry.
No, but that's the thing. Like Microsoft still has that stigma from the Bill Gates era, and even though a lot of them still use Windows or any Microsoft like Word or Excel and all of those software things, they still see them as this behemoth of a company because of them being a multi-trillion-dollar company. Apple, they just know that that's their phone and they love that iPhone to death, that they're not going to raise a stink about it just yet.
They can't.
Now, when the iPhone does something that they don't like, then that might be a different story. Like the whole word about Apple possibly trying to buy Disney or whatever, that might change things. But if it doesn't change things, if you don't see them step up and say something, then that goes to show that there's clear bias as far as brand recognition and what these regulators or politicians use versus what they can get their name associated with or try to seem like they're sticking up for the common person when all they're doing is just basically either trying to grease their palms or line their pockets type of thing. So
I think this deal is like very similar to like Disney buying Fox. Like it just like it kind of like if you compare the industries, like Fox could be like the Activision whatever. Like I don't know, it's just like it seems very similar, and that kind of passed. Like I guess the concessions were that was like Fox just like kept some of the like news channels under Fox brand, but I don't know.
Yeah, the weird thing is, obviously, that didn't kill the entertainment industry.
Yeah,
but Fuzzy though, if you read what the FTC said, I mean, if you read it, it literally seems like if it was Jim Ryan writing to the FTC and say, "Hey, say this," literally.
Yeah,
that's insane.
I mean, they're not as obviously they're not into gaming, but a lot of these things that they're tasked to regulate, they're not necessarily up on that industry. So they get it from a third party or from their interns or whatever the case may be. And if this guy, Jim Ryan, is sending them notes like, you got to stop this because of X, Y, and Z, they're going to take a look at that because they figure, well, obviously, if this guy's crying about this, there's got to be something to it. So let's just take these notes and we'll read this back to the parties that are looking to do the acquisition and see if we can't get some sort of negotiation. But that's what they should normally do, I guess. But in this case, because Microsoft just happens to be the guy sitting across the table, oh, well, you're one of the big three or one of the big four that we got to take down a notch because you're getting too big for your britches, even though we kind of are okay with that, but not in this instance because we got, midterms that just came through and we got an election in another couple of years. So we got to make it look like we're earning our checks type of thing.
So basically these people are stopping this deal and they don't know shit what the hell they're stopping it for.
Well, what they're stopping it for versus what will wind up happening are two different things. They're stopping this, like I said, this is to send a message to big tech. This is to tell Zuckerberg, you're not buying anything else like Instagram ever again. This is to tell Bezos, you're not buying any more, studios without us fighting it out in court a little bit, or we're going to try and make it more difficult for you. We're going to drag things out in the legal system, waste taxpayer dollars and your dollars at the same time. So it's an ugly approach on how to do business these days. Kind of like what Pong said earlier. It's like big government. I'm not a fan of big government. Why do they need to be in our business on a lot of stuff? Yes, they should protect our water to make sure we got clean drinking water and that
they don't do that very well either.
There's not lead in the gasoline or in the paint or whatever.
That's Flint, Michigan. Jesus.
Oh God.
Yeah, make sure it's not flammable water or whatever. But they don't even seem to get that right half the time. But,
man, I thought my country was corrupted, but damn, man, seriously, after you guys say this,
money corrupts all.
Well, they're gonna bitch when they gotta run Linux on their over in the government.
Because I'm sorry, I gotta say this though, but right now Sony is affecting our pockets. If people don't see that,
everyone's pockets,
yeah. If
not just gamers, the taxpayers' dollars that are being used to fight this for no reason other than I need to get higher up in my career and whatever bullshit they're trying to put out there, because it's bullshit. It's just fucking, it just doesn't need to be done. They just need to, if they have any inklings or any concerns, bring it up. Actually have.
Well, they just need to take every deal individually for what it is instead of using something as an example. That's like picking the kid out from a class that did like one little thing wrong and giving him the detention for like 3 weeks and then everybody else gets off scot-free. You know what I mean? It's like you can't just like take something and use it as an example when the action doesn't actually fit the scenario of what you're trying to accomplish.
The problem is they're not looking at it case by case. They just block everything. Like, I will say they did a good job when NVIDIA tried to buy ARM, because that's like the two fucking chip manufacturers, whatever. Like, that shouldn't have happened. So they blocked it. It's good. But like, they're not looking at it case by case.
It's got to be case by case with everything. And this is a bullshit thing, 100%. Let's get to a couple super chats. G-Man with a $5 super chat. Appreciate you. Said, relax, guys. This is Politics 101. FTC has something Microsoft wants. Maybe they have something FTC wants. It's business. Yeah, the FTC shouldn't be business, in my opinion.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I think they should be looking out for consumers and
their
job.
That's their job.
Okay.
But I get what you're saying there. Yeah, it's a negotiation tactic, right? It's a negotiation ploy. That's what a lot of people are saying. And right now, that's why maybe there was no injunction or whatever. I don't know. I know that Brad Smith said that they are willing to fight this. Activision Blizzard spokeslady said that they are willing to fight this as well. I don't know how much what she has to say matters in this. Hoaglaw says to think that what really all that ends up happening is Microsoft, what they have to say, because if Microsoft ends up wanting to back out on this deal, Activision can't really do anything about it. Microsoft would be leading the case as well. So 100%, I don't know what's all going to be taking place. But also, Alvin with a $5 super chat. He's quoting Brad Smith here. We had hoped for peace. Brad Smith, as I said yesterday, cry havoc. I think that Brad Smith is willing to take this all the way if he's allowed to. Obviously, I think Phil wants this to get done. But 5 years is a long time if that's actually how long the process would actually go on for to hold up a deal this big. However, I don't think that would necessarily affect everything else going on with Microsoft like it has this past year, if that's the case. They have to move on with their lives at some point, right?
Yeah, and there's
That's
a bright
just-
spot too. Hogue pointed out that there's a Supreme Court case right now that they are hearing, where another company that's been tied up with the FTC for like 2 years through the appeal system that they supposedly have in place has now brought the case before the Supreme Court. That they are hearing it, that the FTC and what they're doing is illegal. And how they handle their appeals process and all that kind of stuff. And there's supposed to be a ruling by next summer. Hogue is guessing right now they should have the ruling by next summer.
Yeah.
And if the Supreme Court does rule in favor of this company, that would open up the ability for Microsoft not to wait around for the FTC process, but to actually take the FTC to court immediately and get a ruling. So that could change things dramatically if the Supreme Court passes or favors the company that is suing the FTC right now. So that could be a bright spot.
Damn.
It's interesting, man. It's like I don't, and again, we don't know what's going to happen with the EU and the CMA. Those are two whole different scenarios here, right? So if those get blocked or are attempted to get blocked from them, I think the deal's dead at that point.
So I got a question for you. How many regulators are around the world? Just the CMA, just the FTC? I mean, you got Brazil, you got
all these other ones, and several of them have already passed it on, saying, okay,
so if the majority passes it though, can they still?
It doesn't matter.
Does it matter?
Based on whatever country
they
you
need
live
like
in.
16 or something like that.
They could do it. There's scenarios, but it gets very
Yeah.
difficult. But Hogue pointed out that if the CMA was the only one to not pass, right? If the EU was on board, FTC, that wouldn't block it. That they would just go ahead, and chances are it would just conduct business as it's always been within the UK, meaning they wouldn't see Call of Duty on Game Pass,
right?
And then they would let all the people in the UK go hammer the CMA and their government, all the gamers going, why can't I get Call of Duty on my Game Pass when the rest of the world has it? And they would let that play out naturally. So there are scenarios that if not all of them pass it, they could go forward. But let's say the EU and the CMA both don't pass it and Microsoft isn't down for the fight over there, however that goes, then there are chances that the deal unravels at that point.
Yeah, I heard that they can't sue or go after the EU or CMA.
CMA, correct. Yes.
CMA only on the procedure, not on the decision.
Right. Correct.
Well, they've gotten in trouble for their procedure before,
correct.
Which you can be used because if they didn't use a procedure of finding the correct evidence or whatever. I mean, that's kind of what was used before with them about kind of procedure of just siding with a company could be used against them instead of actually looking at the evidence at hand. I'm wondering how that gray area of procedure applies, right? So, EU, I don't know. There's supposedly some positive talks have been happening, but we don't know 100%. The question is, how much does what's going on with the FTC affect the opinions and what may transpire in the EU and the CMA? Do they see this and they decide that, okay, we're going to step on board too, or they just, what they should do is rely on everything separately, right? But do they want to, what do you think, guys? I mean, do you think they would actually look at this and say, well, this is more reason for us to go ahead and attempt to block it?
I think so. And that's the thing that's kind of concerning, because I was hoping for the 2v2 vote as far as the FTC, which is like a non-decision at that point. So it then puts the ball back in the CMA and EU's court. And I think at that point, if they realize the FTC has like a non-contest stance on it because they're split, then they would probably work on just sitting at the negotiation table, come up with concessions, try to get both parties on board, or get Sony on board with this deal, seeing as how Microsoft has already offered them a deal, already offered Nintendo a deal, Steam a deal. So it's like everybody that's a factor in this whole market has already been offered a deal. It's just that one is not accepting it, and it's like, well, what can we do to get you guys to
be fair? I don't even
compromise?
know if even if all that comes down to does Lena Khan and them even like be like, okay, we're going to accept your concessions? I think they're just so stubborn that they say, fuck it, we're just going to take it as long as we can. Like,
I honestly think that that's the case. Like when it comes to the FTC right now, this sending a message to big tech companies just rubs me the wrong way. It just because in the grand
I
scheme
just
of
don't think
things,
there's anything Microsoft can offer that will sway them because they're just their mind's already set with it.
oh yeah, it's to the point where
So
this
do you
agenda
think
is
that's-
bigger than everything else, as far as whether it's the workers, the unions, the sexual assault allegations. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is sending a message to big tech companies, and that's all that they're going to be hyper focused on. And be damned everything else. It's like,
Yeah.
like when if this falls apart and that company goes on a fire sale, I want them to answer the devs that are going to be like, yep, I lost my job. I'm part of the 10,000 layoffs over at Activision. Oh, Activision is closing its doors. It looks like, yeah, well, Call of Duty won't be in production for the next 2 or 3 years because there's nobody here to work on it, kind of thing. So
I got a question to Jasper, though, real quick, because Jasper, you just said that you don't think there's anything Microsoft could offer that the FTC would accept. So in your mind, are you saying that this deal's going to take 5 years to close if they actually want to follow through with it?
As long as fucking possible. The FTC is going to say no to everything that Microsoft offers just because, like, if they really were going to accept anything, like, they would have at least listened to Microsoft and be like, oh, here's the Nintendo thing, but we didn't see that. Like,
so what's your confidence in this deal getting through that now?
I think it comes down to whatever judge they get, like whatever the decision is in court.
For like in August?
Well,
Well, I mean,
Hogue said that the complaint is written so badly that it's such a joke, as he was breaking down, that he actually thinks there's a chance that even their internal judge that they're going to first could actually side with Microsoft in this. Like,
right.
That's how
so
bad
when
this
they
is.
even look at it before the August thing to see,
Yes.
like with the right. Okay. So that's interesting.
Because it's insane. I mean, they don't have nothing. They don't have, and everything that Sony said in those 22 pages, Microsoft has done the opposite of it. It's like they were ready for all that stuff, literally. Because like when was it? 3 days ago, they signed a deal with Steam and Nintendo for 10 years.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you see FTC the next day blocking this deal, saying, "Hey, you're gonna have this exclusive. You're doing this. You're doing that." But yet, yesterday we signed a deal with these guys.
Well, I think that's because Microsoft knew it was getting blocked, and that was the last.
I just hope that judge, whoever it is a gamer and plays on Xbox or has
I want
kids that
Starfield.
play on Xbox. I hope he's a guy that listens to gaming podcasts and news and keeps up with things, because a lot of these.
I mean, I just have zero faith. Lena Khan can be like, "Hey, I'm going to give you $10,000 if you block this shit." Like, that's how I believe, like, in the faith in the government. Just like, whatever.
The craziest thing is they could take the easiest win possible here by setting the tone and setting an example for all the big tech companies when it comes to unionization, when it comes to all this stuff that actually has human elements to it.
It's already been conceded, right? You know
that's what I'm saying. That CWA is on board, right? The biggest workers union in tech is on board and saying Microsoft is opening the doors for us and is possibly a game changer to the entire tech industry who have been against unionization. That this could set the standard going forward for all of it, to break open the doors for all these workers to be able to start unionizing, and they're just throwing it away. The FTC is just throwing it away and not even mentioning it. Somebody like Bernie Sanders, who's supposedly a huge backer of workers, doesn't even mention it once. It's all BS. But they could have an easy win. They could come out with concessions. They could come out with things in, the consent decrees in writing from Microsoft, and on top of it, promote the fact that this is opening the doors for an industry that has been closed off to unions and to the workers that have lots of documented issues within the workplace, and they could be touting all of this as a huge win.
Yeah.
Nah, they don't give a shit.
I got two things I want to kind of wrap up this show with, right? First, I got a hypothetical question to ask. And I kind of want you guys. I want you.
I got a question too for you guys, which I have in my head though, and it's about like what happens. Like, I mean, I don't know. I don't understand why they don't see the numbers, right? I mean, this year we noticed that Tencent has been number one in revenue, right? So what happens if this monster grabs all their studios and locks them down and say, "Hey, we're gonna make this exclusive, just for them"? What's gonna happen to that? What's gonna happen to everybody? I mean,
They don't care. All they care about is
They've been giving up to China a long time.
If China, if Tencent did it, you would see it pass within a month.
Yeah, that's the thing, though.
Serious.
Yeah, no, yeah, and Sony is not looking at that. They're not looking at that. And I'm telling you something, Tencent is more dangerous than anybody right now. I mean, that company has its tentacles in a lot of stuff, and nobody's saying nothing.
Chinese government, dude.
Yeah, I know.
So I got a question, like a hypothetical here. Okay, let's say Microsoft backs out of the deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say they decide they don't want to go the 5 years potentially, or whatever, how long it takes, and decide they don't want to fight it. Let's say they have that shareholders meeting. Shareholders decide, hey, let's pay the $2 billion or $3 billion, whatever it is, and just move on from ABK, right? What my question is, what does Microsoft and what does Xbox do after that? Hypothetically.
Like, true, I can see them going and getting the marketing rights for Call of Duty if Activision's still around, getting the marketing rights for that, going to other marketing rights that they have with other studios and just out buying things, buying up smaller studios, because I don't think they
are not going for a publisher, because I think the investors would be too scared to lose another $2 billion.
So they're going to go after smaller studios. They're going to snap, and they're going to build up that way. They're probably going to buy Montreal, Eidos Montreal, and what do you call it? What's the other one?
Crystal
Dynamics.
Crystal D from Embracer for inflated amount, but get them on board. Possibly Certain Affinity, Sega. I would love to see a Bandai or Sega, but I don't think they will go.
Well, I mean, do they go for another big publisher if this gets blocked? I mean,
no, not.
I mean, if they bow out, I mean, I don't know if they have the taste for that again. I mean,
they'll go after smaller
private company,
smaller studios, and I don't know about publishers right now. I don't think. Then maybe they'll try their hand back at Activision. Sega would be a nice get for overseas in Japan, or Bandai Namco would be.
I think
nice
it depends on how strong the investors feel with it. Like, if they feel that it's not worth the risk anymore, they're not going to
wait to see what happens in 2024. That's what they're going to wait for. They're going to wait for a new. They're going to wait for the elections. They're going to wait for the elections to happen, and if it does swing back to Republican in 2024, and they get a favorable FTC again, they would be back in business again. And I think that's when they would make their move in the East for sure, on a smaller publisher scale, not a 2K.
Right. That's not too far away, right? And also, who knows what economy-wise it's going to be in a couple years, right? It could be different story than what we're leading into right now as well. So I think
the smaller studios for sure. They would go. Let's be real. There's not a whole lot left, especially with the way Embracer Group's been going. Smaller studio wise, but I think that that would be their best route. They would go after the IOs right away, the Certain Affinities, and if they had to, they would buy some smaller AA studios and then build them up like they've been doing with their other studios. That's exactly what they would do. They would look for good IP that they think they could work with and build that route for the time being until something changes.
Yeah, I would go a totally different route.
Yeah.
At this point, I would go for the death blow for Sony. I would put them out of business for hardware first, and then software. And here's where I take it. I go to AMD. I want an exclusive on RDNA 3 and RDNA 4 chips for consoles. I think that's $10 billion I'm going to spend on R&D. They can't get the next chips from AMD. And I go to NVIDIA, do the same thing, but I put that for Surface, for my Surface line. So Surface will be my PC gaming avenue. to make sure Sony can't get any AMD or
Fuzzy.
anything from AMD or anything from NVIDIA for the next 7 years. And
God
then I go to
Intel's your other option.
Fuzzy read my mind right there.
well, no, I'll leave Sony with Intel because they're not going to want to work together. There's bad history between the two from in the past, so Intel's not going to want to work with Sony. Then Intel's got a different plan, but I would kill their console business by taking that away. They don't have the cloud infrastructure, so they can't do the cloud like we can. So I would take NVIDIA and AMD off the
no
table
more Azure
for 7 years.
Sony.
That's
the
what I was
problem
gonna
though.
say, though.
The problem though is then Fuzzy, what happens and why I shake my head is because of course I'd love Scorched Earth and I would be ruthless. But that's the position. What position that puts Microsoft back into again then is a true.
Right.
What you do is you go and buy all the analog sticks in the world, so they can't ever use the controller.
Right.
To go to a touchpad.
Hey,
no, but
I
would definitely go for video card chipset or combined chipsets to make sure that they have nothing on the table. They either have to crawl to Apple or they have to crawl to Intel, and Intel's not going to want to bother with them.
Kate's got to step out here, so I'm going to get her outro real quick.
Okay.
No, this is gonna keep going, babe. This is not gonna stop.
No, go.
I want to say thanks, babe, for hopping on the show. I know you don't have a lot to say for these couple topics at the end, but thanks for doing the Manscaped ad, and I want to make sure everybody knows where they can find you.
I do also want to say that Hello Neighbor 2 is really fun. Game Pass. We've been actually playing it as a family, and
snatching kids
it's actually pretty challenging.
It is, yeah.
The puzzles and stuff. It's just really fun.
Yeah.
I don't know why everybody thinks that's funny.
Because it's so random. It's just like a random Kate thought.
I'm just shouting out, a new game that dropped in Game Pass like you guys usually do.
Yeah. No, that's awesome though. We have been having fun. Our daughter's into it. Kate's into it. Kate's watching the game, and she's getting upset because we're not doing what she would do. Right. And then when she gets a controller, we're all watching no, go there, then my daughter gets it and we're both yelling at her, what are you doing? We say go left and she turns right, but it's been a lot of fun playing that. So
thanks for letting me come on.
You come on. That's funny.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at KaitlinX0615. And TikTok at Caitlin_fancy. And don't forget, use code FUNSPECULATION at manscaped.com for 20% off and free shipping. And I promise Santa won't be the only big man coming down your chimney this Christmas.
Wow. Whoa. Hey,
bye, guys.
Bye, baby.
Oh my God. Bye, fancy.
But yeah, Fuzzy, you read my mind. I mean, seriously, I would grab anything I can with the money I have because, again, Microsoft is $1 trillion company. I mean, I would just wreak havoc, man. Yeah. Literally, for example, you were talking about buying all those chips, right? Okay, cool. I would also get all the major fucking third parties in Game Pass. I would just get them, all of them, man. I would just say, hey, how much you gonna cost me to put you on Game Pass? Here's the money. Boom. 3 or 4 years, for example, Grand Theft Auto, the new one. Put it on Game Pass, man. Put it on Game Pass for 5 years, man. Literally, that would just wreck.
I think damn. That's what I was kind of saying earlier, though, is you play by the rules that are okayed by the precedent of the industry that obviously the EU, the FTC, and the CMA have said is okay, but which Xbox has kind of bowed out on. The Xbox has bowed out on those rules lately because Phil said he doesn't like third-party exclusive deals, really. It doesn't really do anything for the consumer, except just keeps games away from consumers as opposed to anything else. And, I think they reversed decision on that in this case. Yeah. And I think they do go get those deals and they start talking to Square. They start talking to some of these other companies, and they start putting in those clauses that Sony puts in their contracts for marketing rights. And they start doing... And for the Game Pass deals they make, I think they do more of them and bigger. but they also maybe pay for exclusivity with a lot of these games, and maybe they start funding more projects with third-party developers as well, tying up those studios for them, so that way they're not even available to make games for Sony, right? And I feel like honestly that would be the path that they would go down, which is Sony's path, right? But Xbox has more funds to use on Sony's path than Sony does. So Xbox could actually outmuscle Sony in the same business that Sony likes to run. And I don't think Sony wants to see that. I don't think Sony wants Microsoft to play their game. Sony's been happy that Microsoft hasn't been challenging them on their exclusivity deals, on their marketing rights on a lot of those games. They've been happy that Microsoft hasn't been going after those, right? Because it's allowed them to keep posturing their platform as the platform that has exclusive games on it. They talked about that leading into this generation. They use that as a big marketing ploy with their systems. And I feel like Microsoft can take that away from them with ease. I've been a proponent that I also am not a huge fan of time exclusives. I'm not a huge fan of exclusivity deals with third-party companies as well, as like prominent franchises and stuff like that. Just that have been multi-plat in the past. I think I actually agree with Phil's thing here, but where I have differed was I didn't think Xbox was ready for it yet to step away from it, because guess what? We haven't had as much first-party content leading up to all the development issues and delays that we've had. I feel like some of those timed exclusives and third-party deals would have helped ease that path into this new Xbox where they own all these studios, right? But they decided not to, right? Sony did, though. Sony was doing those deals. They got Deathloop. They got Ghostwire Tokyo. They tried to get Starfield. You know, they got Final Fantasy VII Remake. They got Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. They got Final Fantasy 16. They've had all these other games. Xbox can take all that away from them, and it would not be against the rules whatsoever. Xbox can take it all away with them with a big fat check to any of these publishers and say, we're playing by the rules here. We're just willing to pay more. And does Sony have the taste to really compete with Microsoft in that bargaining table with all of these publishers if that's Microsoft's decision to actually play that game? I don't think so. I don't think Sony has the taste for that either. Will they go cry about that if that happens? Will they go crying to regulators and say, look what Microsoft's doing to us? They're doing our business, but they're doing it better. Can they make a case? I don't think so. Microsoft is trying to play nice. If this deal gets blocked, that's over with. And I feel like Microsoft will take the Sony route, but go bigger than Sony ever could. Yep. And I don't think Sony wants to see that.
It's like the song says, they have no limits. Yeah, they have no limits. I mean, who the hell would piss off $1 trillion company? You got to be.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I mean,
the problem with that,
you're not monopolizing at that point. You're just doing what's been okay.
The problem with that is Microsoft obviously have to probably spend more money for the exclusive deal. And
yeah, but for how long? Because if you get the market share, then
but if you run negative like 4 years before it starts to make up, like, is it worth that?
Well,
yeah, because here's the thing though, Jasper, the investors are going to go all the way with this, because I mean, literally, they're going to be pissed off.
Not if your checkbook's in the red. For
hey, man. I mean, I'm going to say something. I will go all the way with Microsoft. Will say, hey, man, bring them down. I will literally bring them down. Yeah, because literally, they're already losing money with this deal.
But I mean,
so if this.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say. So imagine though, also that like those games, like to Jasper's point about will they be losing money. Imagine how many subscribers they'd be getting if Final Fantasy 16 was day one in Game Pass, if Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2 was day one in Game Pass, if all these games were day one in Game Pass, these big AAA third-party games that PlayStation has gotten exclusive rights on before. If those games were day one in Game Pass, how many new subscribers do they get? So I don't know. I think that's where they've been putting more money, right? And if they're looking at gaining subscribers, and
but if they follow the old model where they just do like year exclusive or whatever.
Well, that's year exclusive and in Game Pass, right? Mm-hmm. You put them in Game Pass, otherwise you're not doing the deal. Like I really they could they just got to pay enough money for it. But you were willing to pay $70 billion, right? So if you're willing to pay $70 billion, I know it was more than just Xbox. It was also a mobile and PC stuff as well. But if you're willing to spend $70 billion now, how many billion would it cost them to go out there and put all those games in Game Pass and with times exclusivity? Those same companies that are willing to do those kind of deals.
That's where their big moves would be PC and mobile. So
Yeah.
they would make moves there for sure, because they wouldn't have any. I mean, they could go big if there's anything big out there. They could go big without the regulatory bodies getting involved because it's such a small percentage. They don't have anything in mobile, and the PC market's so huge that they can't make a dent in it with a couple purchases. So
Who bought
they would
Zynga?
definitely invest.
Who bought
in
Zynga?
Take-Two.
2K.
Take-Two.
Take-Two.
And they didn't really have anything to say about that, did they?
No, that was $12 million or $12 billion, and they didn't have anything to say because again, the mobile market's so gigantic, and again, Take-Two didn't have a huge presence. Microsoft basically has zero presence right now outside of a couple small studios, so they could go big there, and they could go big in the PC realm too, and that's exactly what they would do, for sure. They would solidify those two as well.
Yeah, because that's what Activision, that's what the ABK deal was going to do. Is going to help with the PC and the mobile market where they're not as strong, and and it sucks that this FTC and all this bullshit. So.
Like
Fuck
Jazz,
these
I want
politics.
StarCraft back. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how this gets done. God
Yeah.
damn it.
If honestly, okay, so for us, our perspective, for me, honestly, if this deal doesn't get done, it doesn't affect me too much. You know what I mean? I like some of the games I wanted to go in Game Pass don't go in. I think it's shitty for the employees more than anything else. And
It's
also,
just one of those things where, like, at the end of the day, you think about it as like in another universe, I could be getting a StarCraft 3
Yeah.
or whatever. It's
yeah,
like,
exactly. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's the things
It's
that
all
suck.
the dormant IP that Activision Blizzard has that being within Microsoft will free up a lot of studios. Other studios would, pick up IPs that they're like, oh, I remember I used to play, true crime when I was. We would love to take a crack at true crime, or StarCraft 2 and Warcraft, whatever. And really, I mean, there was so much potential with this ABK deal outside of Call of Duty. That's why Call of Duty being multiplat was a non-issue, because we were like, that's fine. That's your only complaint. Yeah, you can have it. We'll keep it multiplat, but you can't make something forever. That's why they were like, all right, we'll get an extension for 3 years. And Sony's like, fuck you. No. Okay, fine. 10 years. Sony's like, no, we still don't want that. And it's like, listen, we can't give you forever. After 10 years, we'll drop new contracts and you can go with there, because they know that they're not going to get the same marketing deals that they're getting right now. And that's a lot of their business is that marketing deal with Call of Duty.
And they don't want it in Game Pass, Psycho. They don't want it in Game Pass.
And the
That's
funny
Yeah,
thing
and
is,
that's
now I'm gonna have
huge.
to spend
the funny
another
thing,
like $1,000 over the course of a couple years because this deal doesn't go through. Can't save my money in Game Pass.
and here's the thing though, if the deal does not go through though, they're still not gonna get the marketing rights, so they're still screwed. So I don't
Yeah,
get
but
it.
then it's not in Game Pass, and that's what they cared the most.
Oh,
But knowing Microsoft, they'll probably spend the money to make that, put it in Game Pass. Well, guess what? It's in Game Pass regardless, Sony. You lost anyways. So thanks. You're screwed over a lot of people, because I guarantee they're going to have to lay off a lot of employees because they can't sustain everybody. And there's going to be this huge thing. And then the FTC and whoever else blocked it is going to be like, oh, fuck. We didn't know it was this bad. But it'll be too late.
No,
'Cause
they
you
won't
got-
give a shit. They'll be like, oh, I guess that company that we
No,
talked about, it went under. Who cares?
They will care when the public is outraged and they're just like, hey, what the fuck is going on? Why all these American jobs being lost?
It's like
no.
the public doesn't. The only people that really know what's going on is like people that in like that talk about it. Like,
yes, but if
Smoke
it gets
Joe
picked
off
up
the streets, not gonna give
and
a shit.
Smo Joe hears that, oh no, there's American companies being lost. I thought, we're all about keeping American companies in America. What's going on here? It'll get political real quick when the right avenue picks it up and runs with it.
Shout out to Topaz Girl 170.
Hey, Topaz Girl, what's up?
Member for 7 months. Appreciate you. Says I'm with Fuzzy, but I would cancel the Azure deal. So, yeah, I mean, there's who knows what all they could do. I mean, they could get as ruthless as they wanted to try and get.
Yeah, you go buy Sony's internet provider so they can't host.
If I was Bobby Carter right now, we'll go over there and just drop the switch on the Sony servers just for a little while, for like a week.
Yeah, I mean, you could. I mean, there's ways of going absolutely ruthless within business and tech, right? I mean, you could really, Microsoft could really, if they wanted to, get Sony shut down in ruthless ways.
We know that they're the fucking pot smoking hippies. They don't want to do that. They want to be peace, dude. Let's make love, not war. Have fun playing games.
They've been in regulatory trouble in the past, so they've tried to play by the
Microsoft
rules.
has, not Xbox.
Same thing.
Xbox is under Microsoft.
It's a separate company.
Is it?
No.
It's not.
It is.
Oh my god!
It's a division within the company, so it's still
Microsoft.
It's just a brand.
It still follows the parent.
Yeah.
Yeah, remove Minecraft from all
platforms. They've been in regulatory trouble in the past. You know what I mean? But they played really nice guy for a long time within the industries and stuff. And
they won't remove Minecraft. Minecraft will go to 480p and running at 20.
I don't think you can make Minecraft look any worse than it already does. It would look the same, Psycho. It wouldn't matter. It's what are they?
Not at 18 FPS, then
No, I mean, there's a lot of things you could do to fuck with them. I honestly really don't think they would do too much except maybe change their playbook and change the rule set that they're willing to play by. One thing I wanted to get into, we won't spend a lot of time on this.
Someone said no audio. Do we have no audio?
Yeah, there's audio.
Who has no audio? How about that? Instead of saying no audio.
Yeah, I think we've been on for almost 3 hours now. So I think somebody else would have said no audio at this point. Is there audio from anybody else having audio issues?
No, it is
audio is fine. Yeah, you probably have us muted or
unlimited power. You're stoned. Unmute us.
No. Thanks for watching, but yeah, I don't know what's going on with your audio. Anyway, I don't want to spend a lot of time with this because we had our rants on FSP on Monday and we talked about this, but this is our chance on Xbox Ultimate for a little bit of a conversation here before we head out. $70 games. Xbox 2023. Psycho, how do you feel about that?
About what?
$70
games
on Xbox.
Xbox.
There's no need for $70 fucking games when you're putting out statements that your financial quarter, or was it financial year last year, was so profitable. There's no need to have $70 games. There is no need. I don't care if the other guys are doing it. You don't want to do exclusives. You
if
don't
all
want to
your
do
friends
all this.
jumped off a bridge, would you do it? I was like,
well, that's the thing. They don't want to have exclusive rights. They want to be trendsetters. Well, stick with the $60 games. PC does it. Why keep that? You're going mostly digital. You're saving the money from all the physical aspect of that, so that money is being saved.
Yeah.
So why are we going $70? Because others are doing it. So you're the board says, hey, you know what? If majority of the market's doing it, we got to too. And that's to the same motherfuckers that said we need a double Xbox Live Gold. And Phil Spencer's and Xbox don't do it. You're gonna hear an outcry. But unfortunately with this, since the majority of the market's doing it, they're like, we're going to do it too. And then it's out of their hands. And I guarantee they don't want to do it. Xbox on that aspect probably don't want to go $70. But if the board is probably recommending it, hey, we got to make up a little bit of difference.
I mean, they want to maximize their profit no matter what. So
yeah, but it's one of those things that it just doesn't need to happen right now. It just doesn't need to happen. I don't. Next generation, yeah, we can go $70 because it's a whole different generation.
Pong, just quick thoughts on that.
I will never defend $70. I will never defend a million, billion, trillion-dollar company raising prices to their customers after reporting record profits for years. I will never agree with that. I don't care what kind of excuse you give me. There is options within the company to make up that extra $10 elsewhere. The tech thing is a complete joke. When it comes to saying these games are more technologically advanced, blah, blah, blah. You're making more money. There are more gamers than there ever have before. That's why that argument, we used to pay this back in the late 80s and 90s. Yeah, you're talking about 1/10 the amount of gamers, if not even less than
and
that.
Industry is like...
Also, it costs more to make
so much
actual
bigger
cartridge.
Right.
Yeah.
No microtransactions, all more, what is it, 75, 80% digital purchases now. Where there is none
higher
of
profit
the
on
overhead costs.
digital versus physical
higher
as
profit.
well.
All of this, I will never defend this. I will never say it. And again, that's me as a consumer, as a gamer. I can have the conversation from a business standpoint. I've done it on previous shows when we talked about Sony. Again, don't agree, never agreed with it. Sony spoke out about it with Sony as well. Activision, whoever, Take-Two, whatever you want to say. It does not matter at the end of the day. It's wrong from a consumer standpoint. I can argue that the business side, it's a business choice. Your consumers are willing to pay it. You can charge them more. That's fine. It happens, right? But not here. I don't agree with it. I spoke out about it. I spoke out about Twitter. I just will never justify it at this point, especially when we're in recession, all this kind of stuff. You can add all the layers you want to. It's great from the Xbox side that people can say, but Game Pass. That's fantastic. Guess what? This is a precursor to Game Pass going up in price as well. Okay? Yep. So again, your but Game Pass, that's a whole different conversation. That's a value conversation. Okay? I can agree. Game Pass is the best value in gaming. I always do. I promote it as much as anybody else does. I love Game Pass. But that's a separate conversation. This is a straight up $1 trillion company in the case of $1 billion division within $1 trillion company saying, F you customers, we need an extra $10 per game, even though we really don't need the extra $10 per game. Yeah. But everybody else is charging you, and you guys are already paying those, so we'll go ahead.
And the thing is, it doesn't affect even them as much as it does like an Activision or 2K or whatever, because a lot of the subscribers use Game Pass to access the game. So if you have like a 10 million, what would have been a 10 million seller, maybe it only actually sells 5 and 5 million people getting Game Pass or whatever, right? And
that's the strategy, Mav, and we know it is. Yeah. And again, that's a whole separate conversation. Business strategy wise, you know exactly why they're doing this.
Therefore,
$70 per game, it increases the value of Game Pass, right? Until they decide to raise the price in Game Pass, which everybody welcome, it's coming. And are you all going to defend that too? So again, it's two separate conversations we're having here. Microsoft, Xbox could have been the leaders in this industry and drawn the line in the sand like they have for the past couple years and said, no, we do not need to raise our prices. We will find the money for our stockholders elsewhere. We believe that the games at $60 is agreeable to everybody, has been for a very long time. We're making more money everywhere else in the video game industry from all the things I just listed off. We don't need to do this. And they could have held that line as a leader, but they chose to follow along with everybody else. And again, it's because they know we'll pay it. And again, I'm not that guy that's sitting here saying, vote with your wallet. Listen, we're never going to get enough gamers to do it.
You're not going to get 300 million people.
My question to all of you is where is your line? Because eventually you have to have your line. And eventually these companies are going to keep pushing it. They pushed it $10 now. Don't think it's going to be another 2 decades before they push it again, folks. It's not.
Oh no, Sony's
$100
already
games are
spoke
coming.
about it.
Right. $100 games are coming. Okay. Is that going to be your line where you finally say, okay, well, now's enough? Well, you should have spoke up a while ago when it first started and started the complaints. But again, that's just me.
I was thinking about that the other night. Like, there's still a lot of people on last gen consoles and they don't have to pay that. So like, I think that's probably why you don't hear as much talk about it.
There's people on PC that don't have to pay it.
Yeah.
And again, we're screwed on console. We get the lesser versions of these games and we wind up paying more because we can't pirate games. Okay. Sorry. It's a reality for the PC realm. PC players don't like something that you do with your PC game, whether it's DRM, whether it's your price point, they're still going to play your game. You just ain't going to see a cent. That's how it is. Us console players, again, that's a choice for all of us to be on console. We just get screwed. We get the short end of the stick. So I will never defend this. I will never say but Game Pass. Again, separate conversation for me. This is wrong. This is an L in my book for Microsoft. They had a chance to be true leaders in this industry, continue to do the things that they've been preaching, and they chose not to. And they chose the quick, easy money instead of standing firm with their customers and saying, no, we're not going to do this. So for me, it's an L. I think it's wrong. It's completely wrong. And again, not the guy saying I'm not going to spend $70. Again, I'm already starting to get conditioned to buy $100, $120 Ultimate Editions. Okay. So listen.
Yeah, but you're making the choice to buy that content based on what comes in it. They're giving you more value for that.
They're giving me more value based upon season passes and the stuff that I know I'm already going to buy, which again goes back to my original argument. They're making a ton of money off of MTXs, all that shit.
Make all those other passes more expensive also.
Yes, correct. Which it will. They're not gonna knock that $10 off. It's going.
I see people use that argument all the time. You know, it just drives me crazy. That's not the same thing.
Nope.
Sony's already come out and in a statement that they're going to go, they're raising prices even more when, you know, but when that comes, we don't know. And it, you know, they're going to come. What happens if they come, let's say, almost towards the end of the generation, but you know what? We need to make $80 games because look how, you know, because you know how games look really good at the end of the generation. Look at, well, there's so much time and effort putting in. We need $80 for games, and Sony's going to start with that fucking path again. And then before you know it,
Take-Two will, somebody will. So yeah, it's coming.
And it fucking snowballs and this bullshit.
That's
and Microsoft not holding their ground, like you said, it just. What the fuck? You hold your ground on one fucking issue, but not on the other. It's like, make up your fucking mind. Are you gonna do something, not do something? You know, you can't be one-handed, we want games everywhere, but yet here, let's raise the prices and screw over the consumer. It's like, come on, you fucking make up your mind. Keep $60 games, and if you don't want exclusives, you know, do the whole fucking
and it's going to push people to wait. Again, that's why I've spoken out also. The biggest thing you can do as a gamer, hey, if you're one of those people that has unlimited cash or really, you know, whatever, you've got the ability to buy every game you want to day one. Congratulations. Again, I'm not speaking to you. But for everybody else, get over your FOMO. Get over your FOMO. The faster you get over your FOMO, the better off you're going to be as they continue to increase these prices. Because now what it's going to do is push customers just to wait for sales more frequently. Everybody's got a backlog now. There's more content than we know what to do with right now. Guess what? Waiting on a game so that you have to get over your FOMO so you're not day one in the conversation. Who cares? You're probably going to get a better experience a month away. And that's the other thing I forgot to, Mav. Again, we talked about this on FSP. With the higher prices, I expect these games to come out more polished. Yep. This week 1, week 2 patch bullshit that we currently have with over 50% of the games that come out is completely off the table. If you're going to charge me more, I'm expecting your games to come out a lot more polished. I'm not expecting bug free. I'm not talking about perfection, but I'm talking about this big patch stuff like Callisto Protocol. That's got to go away. I'm not going to accept your excuses anymore because again, I can wait a month, 2 months, get it for 50% off and have a whole lot better of experience at the end of the day. I got over my FOMO a long time ago. I'm telling you all as gamers, if you're not that guy who has all the money or that girl who has all the money in the world, get over your FOMO. It's going to save you a ton.
Yeah. Saves me a ton.
For me, it's kind of like what you were saying, Pong. if they're going to raise their price, I'm gonna raise my expectation.
Yep.
Like, no more of this drip feeding nonsense. If you either release the game complete or don't bother releasing it until it's complete. That none of this, oh, well, it's $10 more. Well, if your previous edition had X amount of content, I expect 10% more, or that more $10 worth more in content. I know it's not going to happen, but that's my expectation as far as if you want me to pay 70 on release day, then I expect that much more content in comparison to your previous title. And I have a sore feeling that it's not going to be the case with some of these games. I'm not pointing the finger at Forza, but I'm starting to wonder if they're going to try to do like they did with Forza Motorsport 5 at the beginning of the Xbox One generation. You went from Forza Motorsport 4, which had tons of cars, tons of tracks, to a lot less cars, a lot less tracks. But hey, the graphics are much better. So if they pull that nonsense this go around and they're going to charge $10 more, no, you better have that much more cars and tracks than Motorsport 7 had, along with the better graphics. That's all I'm saying.
I know I am going to butt Game Pass, but I just, while you were all talking, I thought like maybe this is a transitional period that we're in. Like maybe like since more companies are going to start offering subscription services, maybe like this is their way of just like saving physical media for the game industry. Like since everything's going to transition to subscription service like movies and TV and music did, like you can go buy vinyls for like $100 now. So it's like,
if they want to charge more for physical, I'm fine with that. They should have been charging less for digital all along.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes. Digital should be a lesser
$10
price.
less.
Yeah, but if you charge more for physical, put the books back in the boxes, make them more valuable.
Yeah.
You know, to focus more on limited run or special edition type releases, better content, make it more of a reason to buy a physical edition other than just having the damn disc, which you got to install, which the content isn't even on the fucking disc anymore anyway. So why are you buying a disc most of the time when you got to install it, you got to download everything, right?
It's the DRM.
I'm saying if you're going to, I get your point, Jasper, and I think there's some truth to that, but like that, I think the way it shifts for physical is to make physical more attractive, right? And if you got to make physical more attractive, then you put the money there, right? You give value back, and
I'm just saying. I think we're coming to a point where it's kind of how you decide: do I want Netflix this month or do I want Disney Plus this month for people? Like I think we're just going to get to that point, and we're not there yet, but maybe in the next few years we'll get to that point where like, do I want Sony Plus or whatever the fuck it's called this month, or do I want Game Pass this month?
Well, I think it'll be a really long time, especially now that Amazon's going multi-plat. You know,
that'd be another service you could like look into. It's like I think we're in that transitional period, and that's why prices are kind of.
I think they just wanted to see how much they could get away with charging, and they're gonna keep doing that. They don't need to, but they're going to. You know, I mean, I think it's not a necessity, but like they were like, hey, it's been a long time.
I can't say anything about Xbox raising price because I haven't bought their games in 3 years. Like. I mean, that's just where I'm coming from.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it from your perspective only.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's fair. And a lot of people look at it like only what affects me, right? Does this affect me a lot? No, because I'm going to stay subscribed to Game Pass, right? But it affects a lot of people. And that's why we talk about it. I see that as a big argument in the chat, like a lot of times, not on this show specifically, but I saw it a lot on FSP. And it's like, well, when's the last time you bought an Xbox first party game or whatever? And it's like, there's a lot of people that aren't subscribed to Game Pass, and this shows about our feelings on that whole situation. And is it good for Xbox or not? I don't think it's a good move for Xbox.
Just as a customer, I can't ever imagine saying I like paying more or I want the company to raise prices. That just
always find deals.
My freaking mind.
Unless they needed to be able to keep the float.
But
right, unless we were talking about somebody breaking even. Unless Microsoft came out and said, hey, we're just barely breaking even, so
we can't make games, guys, because we're just not making any money. We really have to go up. That's not the situation that we're in, you know. Louis, do you have any thoughts on this before we get out of here?
I was gonna say that I bet you 5 Dominican pesos, which is 10 cents, that they're even in the playing field, just to not give Sony another thing to add to the whole Activision deal crap. You know, I think that's why they said that right now, because again, I would have waited till they delivered the games and then okay, probably so. But I do not agree that price raise. No, never will agree with that. But if they don't deliver though, why the heck are you raising the price? So yeah. I'm not with them 100%. But in the point though, that I think they're even in the playing field because they don't want Sony just to grab that and be like, oh, you guys are making these games and charging 60. Well, we had to raise our price.
Even playing field, they're just doing it to get extra money because they can.
How much better would it have looked though, Louis, had they committed to the FTC and the EU and the CMA to not raise their prices to $70 like everybody else? How much better would that have been?
I don't know, man, because right now they're looking for any type of excuse just to stop the deal. So I don't know.
But that would have been more consumer friendly, right? Obviously. So
Probably
to
so.
be
Would
the
have put
only
more
big
perspective
publisher
for
not raising their
competition.
prices. Yeah, exactly.
And I did find it interesting that one of those games at the Game Awards was Amazon going on Xbox and PlayStation and all that too. And it was partnered with Bandai Namco, I believe, also, right?
Yes.
It was the Blue Protocol, wasn't it?
Yeah,
No,
Blue Protocol.
Yeah.
But
So
that's the thing. Go ahead. I was going to
Amazon's
say
publishing in the West is what it is. So.
it puts the notion out there. Oh, this is a great Amazon game. What else do they have?
Right.
And then that brings you over to the.
It does lead us to think that Amazon's willing to put games on console, though, which we weren't sure about before. This changes the game a little bit.
Well,
that's because they didn't
this
make
game
or
it
something.
is.
Yeah, but they didn't make any other games either. They just published them.
Well, they've
you
had
know?
studios that have made games only on PC.
Right, but
I forgot.
The MMOs and stuff
what
are all
money
games
is.
that came from the East that they've funded and
Well,
published.
no,
in the
they've
West and
made
stuff.
their own game. It went under, but they made
New
their own
World.
game.
Yeah,
New
it
World.
failed. I don't know.
Crucible, I think what it was. It was a battle royale.
They had that racing one, the Top Gear one, or World Tour, that was not well received. That was like their first one that they released on console.
Okay.
But you gotta, if you're going to have your own console or your own subscription service down the road that's going to make more of a splash, you gotta give people a taste where they're at. You can't just say, "Hey, come to my new web only thing," like Stadia.
And that's what this is.
Gotta be like, hey.
I still find it interesting because that means that any other games that Amazon may like potentially get rights to or publish could potentially go to console now. It opens up a potentially new avenue.
This game is not that high. As FTC
I'm looking
says.
forward to
AAA
this game right now.
So it's one of those games that they're like, yeah, you know what? We can put this on console and make it multi-plat. But that if they got the Lord of the Rings game, you want to play that?
Also, that Blue Protocol's free to play.
Luna's for you.
That's
Is
what the
Blue
money
Protocol
is.
confirmed free to play.
That's what I saw.
Oh,
Okay, nice.
okay. So they are going that route. So Amazon's dipping their toes in kind of games as service as a publisher to see, because they'll get a cut of obviously.
Well, they've had the MMOs as well, so I think that's the kind of thing that they're.
But I'm talking about on console.
Yeah.
Right? So
I'm like.
So then that's another thing. Putting a free to play game on console. Well, yeah, it's a no brainer because then you get all that revenue from all these gamers from all over the place.
Yeah, but there was a time when we were kind of wondering, okay, like is it Luna and PC only, or what? With what Amazon's thoughts were, and
I wouldn't
just
start. It's just one.
I'm not expecting, but anytime
is that game coming to the Luna service? Do we know?
I don't know, but anytime there's a first, it opens up a door, right? Just like when Outer Worlds and MLB The Show came to Game Pass, it opened the world for big AAA type third party games to come to Game Pass day one. Also, right? It set a precedent now to changing our expectation about what's possible. I did never expect, honestly, to see an Amazon published game on consoles. This is a first.
No,
so we'll see.
well, yeah.
I'm not saying it's going to be the norm. And I'm not saying it's going to be the norm, but it is interesting to think that we are potentially Amazon, anything they do, who knows, could end up on console now. So it's another publisher in the game, in the console space. And it's a big publisher. Amazon's got a lot of pockets, right? So that's another player in this that we have to kind of really consider in the console space now, in my opinion. It's just interesting. Anyway, everybody, let's get everybody out of here.
Yeah, I just want to welcome back Mr. Joanna Dark to the podcast. Thank you, buddy.
Yo, Joanna, how's it going, bro?
FTC did your Switch dirty.
Yeah. For kids only. Joanna, what are you doing owning that Switch? You're not 9. You're not 9. You what are you doing?
Not the superior game experience.
Kid toy.
It's not a premium hardware device or whatever.
Yeah. It doesn't make AAA games.
Yeah, tell that to Bayonetta, which won an award at the Game Awards.
Yeah, that was the other thing from the FTC. Only EA, Ubisoft, Take-Two, and
Activision.
Activision
big
can make
four.
AAA games. Can make AAA
Sony
games.
can't. Microsoft can't.
No, they were talking about third party, but still, that's still ridiculous.
Third party.
Yeah, third party. Come on. There's a lot more third party AAA than just those. But anyways.
Yeah, did they include Bandai Namco in there?
Nope.
Yeah.
Did they have the
I don't
biggest
think-
game of the year last year?
I don't think they included any companies from the East.
Eastern. No Eastern. companies. No Square Enix. Square Enix Final
Sega.
Fantasy 16 is not AAA.
Sega, Square. You want to? I mean, you can even go into like publishers like Krafton.
Oh, of course. Gearbox.
Yeah, Gearbox.
Borderlands is AAA.
Oh, Embracer Group owns a couple
Right.
of AAA publishers
Yeah.
now, right?
Crystal Dynamics. Adios. Let's go.
Yeah.
Stupid
It's fucking
ignorance.
crazy.
Yeah,
Not
their case holds no fucking water, man. I hope somebody really like just hammers
They're
this
drinking
and
the
gets to 'em.
wrong Kool-Aid over in the FTC.
I just hope somebody looks at this and laughs at it and throws it in their face. I really do, but we'll see.
I hope
what
it's their
happens.
own internal judge. That would be the best.
Yeah.
Yeah,
SmackDown.
do you want me to fucking what? Yeah,
You want me
get
to
the
prove
fuck outta here.
this?
Yeah, so who
Get
is
out
this
of here.
internal judge? Is it like just the
They have a panel of judges that they have that are supposed to be impartial, but obviously they are part of the FTC. So
are
Hope
they
said it's-
do these judges have affiliated parties?
No, most
like-
judges don't.
The Supreme Court judges do usually.
The Supreme
Yeah.
Court judges do, but at this level, they generally don't have that attachment. However, like Hogue said,
People have their
Everyone-
biases.
Yeah,
Their personal
but,
biases.
but they said at
Red and
the
blue.
federal level, most of the time, especially in M&A, when it comes to these types of rulings, it has been very impartial in the past that they read the letter of the law and say, nope, you're going outside of those bounds.
Right.
You're not proving within the bounds of.
But it just
monopolies.
takes
So-
that one that doesn't do that.
When does that happen though? Like that first look
That-
or whatever.
That would be the first look underneath the FTC is, I believe, the August date. So
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
So that early, unless they agree to concessions ahead of
Yes.
time and change their mind,
Yes.
the earliest we
Yes.
could get any results back would be August.
Unless that Supreme Court ruling goes through, and then Microsoft can take the FTC to
Right.
court, and then we could get something a lot sooner.
So this is just majorly got prolonged unless there's concessions
Yes.
that they agreed to.
And that's-
which, according to Jasper, that ain't gonna happen.
Right.
And that is still if the EU CMA approves it.
At least the EU. I think Microsoft still moves forward.
I'm
with the
hoping the
CMA.
EU. I think they're more than likely looking at it like, we don't have anything, guys. Let's take the concession. They're offering 10 years. It's Nintendo took it, Steam took it.
And
It's good.
Serbia passed it. Brazil passed it. Saudi Arabia passed it.
that's it.
So let's go. CMA.
Crazy Louis passes it.
Yep.
They
I do.
Not a
might. They
pass.
might want. They might. The CMA might throw the kitchen sink and try to get something more, but they're gonna be like, "Hey, be realistic here, guys." And the EU just passed. Everyone, Nintendo, so on. Let's get this deal done, so this way we can go back to the FTC and finish this out and make Call of Duty fucking. We'll give everyone but Sony a 10-year plan. Sony, go back to the original 3-year, and then we'll talk about your extension.
Interesting. All right. Let's get everybody out of here. Louis, thanks for hopping in. Surprise guest. Where can everybody find you, sir?
Oh, you can find me at Twitter, Crazy Louis Gaming, where I do all sorts of crazy stuff. And you can also find me on Mondays at Xbox Lunch Break Special with Mr. Fuzzy Belvedere, Mr. Wet Dave, and Mr. Boomstick. And last but not least, you can find me at Wednesdays at Xbox International Podcast at 7 p.m. ET with my brother Sour Blow, Silent Cypher, and Mr. Bloom.
Right on, bro. I appreciate you being here as always. And hey,
Happy birthday, Louis.
Oh, thanks,
Happy
man.
birthday.
Thanks, man. And thank
Happy
you for having me
birthday.
on,
Oh,
man.
it's your
Really,
birthday
thank you,
today?
thank you. No, yesterday, man. Yesterday.
Oh fuck! How'd I miss that? Shit! Happy birthday, Louis.
Thanks, man.
That's
Thanks,
right.
man.
I forgot he was getting married. So
Yeah,
what the fuck?
I didn't forget that. I
You need
didn't
to make
forget
more
that.
shower videos, Louis. Get the attention of
Yeah.
people.
Well, happy
Yeah,
happy
yeah,
birthday,
yeah.
dude.
I'll do one tomorrow.
For
Um,
Pong.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
Fuzzy Belvedere, thanks for taking place with my profile picture up there for Xbox. Where can everybody find you, dude?
Just awesome being here on here with you guys and having Crazy Louie as a special guest. And everybody in the chat, thanks for interacting with us and everything and catching us live, or those that'll catch us on replay. For those that want to follow me and hear my rants or rambles on anything gaming related, just follow me on Twitter at @fuzzy_Belvedere. You can find me also on Shop Podcast tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Arizona time with Pong and PTK Blam on PTK Blam's channel. You can also find me on Double Barrel Gaming on Mondays at 12 noon with Crazy Louie, Web Dave, and Mr. Boomstick on Xbox Lunch Break Special. And then later that evening, FSP at 10 p.m. with the FSP family, Jasper, Mav, Psychonauts, 3-Bit sometimes. And we had special guests last week, had Pong on there as well. So always a good time there. And then Friday mornings, 10 a.m. on Double Barrel Gaming for Breakfast with Boom. What did I say? 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on his channel. And then right back here on Xbox Ultimate at 10 p.m. next Friday. Look forward to seeing you guys there.
Right on, man. Thanks always, Fuzz. Jasper, what about you, bro? Where can everybody find you?
Yo, check it out. Lord Jasper on Twitter, Lord Master Jasper on YouTube. I kind of do stuff whenever on there, so don't have a schedule. And then FSP, like Fuzzy was saying, is Monday, 10 o'clock here on Fun Speculation Channel, and back at it, Xbox Ultimate Friday, 10 o'clock right here on the Fun Speculation Channel. That's where I'm at. That's what I do. Check it out.
Right on, man. Psychonauts, what about you, sir?
Just want to say thank you to the chat that came out today. You guys are phenomenal. Always great energy and great conversations going on. And Louis, thanks for coming on. I am sorry that I did not know that you're getting married. So congratulations. I feel I'm a piece of shit. This is what it is.
That's
I'm
next
sorry.
week, right?
No,
Louis?
no.
Yeah,
Yep, next Saturday, man.
Damn.
Next Saturday.
Well, have fun on your honeymoon. And so you can find me everywhere, social media, Psychonauts8. You can find my ramblings there, as Fuzzy says. And you can find me Mondays, 10 o'clock FSP. And you can find me here on Xbox Ultimate, 10 o'clock now for the time being. You can find us with our great takes. It went left way early today. If you haven't checked it out, hit it on the replay. It's a great time. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, man.
How about you, brother?
Pong Soul, where can everybody find you?
Oh boy, I've been up for 17 hours. I am starting to lose
Yeah.
it. I gotta get ready to go in the morning too.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here. What a great show. A lot to talk about this week, folks. Again, I put out a post while we were talking that this is still fascinating. I know a lot of people are sick and tired of it, and I know I'm impassioned about certain
Yeah.
aspects of it, but I'm fascinated by this. This is something we've never seen, and this is why this is the #1 entertainment industry in the world right now. Is we get this kind of stuff now. This is not dull. So thank you all for being here. Everybody who stopped by, and obviously, again, happy birthday, Louis. Congratulations next week. Can't wait to see some pictures from your wedding. I'm sure we're going to see some big fat stogies, 100% being lit. So other than that, brothers, it was a great night. You guys can all catch me tomorrow morning in just about 8.5 hours. We will be back. Living Split Screen, my brother from the Steel Rain. And you think you haven't heard it all yet? Well, yeah, join Living Split Screen tomorrow morning. You know what you're going to get because you've already seen my half. Just wait until Steel gets his chance. So it's going to be fun tomorrow morning. Be there, Living Split Screen, Mission 1K. Then, like Fuzzy said, PTK Blam's channel tomorrow night, the Shop Podcast. Oh, wait, Living Split Screen, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. You guys know that. 3 p.m. UK. Be there. And then, of course, Shop tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 o'clock Central Time. PTK Blam, Fuzzy Belvedere, and myself Plus, we have a guest, I think, Fuzzy. I can't ever remember. I don't know why. But anyways, it's always a great time to end your Saturday night with us. We're going to have great conversations there. Lots and lots more to talk about. And then Sunday, it has not been officially announced yet. I expect it to be announced tomorrow.
I'm going to make a great guess of what that's going to be.
Yes, you are. I'll give everybody a hint, but I'm not going to spoil it outright. But of course, I'll be entering a new realm on Sunday, and what a week to be doing so. So this is going to be a blast. Yes, yes, I am. Yes. I got Psychonauts care package, and I'm planning on going to space. All right, so it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun Sunday, so keep your eyes open for that. Obviously, I'll be retweeting it and all that good stuff. So be there when that gets announced, and then obviously next week it starts all over again. Tuesday, obviously Xbox Factor. If I can make it one of these weeks, I'm going to. I hate not being there. Boom's such a great guy. He's asked me to be on the other shows, and I'm always at work now. But no matter what, Tuesdays is all good things green. Xbox Factor podcast, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time. Great panel each and every week. So be there. Thursday, Mav and I are taking off PM in the PM. I have a Christmas dinner for the company. So no PM in the PM next Thursday. But back here next Friday for Xbox Ultimate, I'm assuming. So otherwise, it's a golden age of gaming, people. Please enjoy your weekend. Play what you love what you play. And I'm going to talk to you in like 8.5 hours. So be there.
Right on, man.
Oh, I'll be there.
Yeah, I can't wait for that. I mean, it's going to be fun on Sunday also. Pong, I forgot to ask, like, okay, so I know next week, PM in the PM, but the week after that's like 2 days before Christmas.
I know. Are we going to do a Christmas special or not?
It's like a 23rd. That's like the 23rd, I think, is when that will be. So we'll have to talk about that. I don't know I don't know what all we all got going on. I don't know what you got going on. But
it's 2 weeks away, so.
Yeah. But everybody, thanks for tuning in to the show. It was a bad week for Xbox, ultimately. Even $70 games, followed by the FTC blocking the deal, followed by a no-show at the Game Awards. Still a lot of positives. We ran through all those games coming out on Xbox next year that already adds to the enormous list of other games that we already know about. Next year, Xbox is going bananas. I stand behind that 100%, that Xbox will dominate 2023 one way or another. And I think it's going to be a great year for gaming. So, but thanks for tuning into this episode of Xbox Ultimate Podcast. Shout out, because it's 117, shout out to the Chief. You're the man. Halo is awesome. But also, we do have a lot of shows coming up this next week. PM and the PM won't be here, like we just said, next week, but we will still have FSP. We'll have, what other shows do we have? Oh, yeah, Xbox Ultimate Podcast will still be here as well. I'm losing it too, Pong. But appreciate you all. I wanted to give a shout out real quick. Need for Speed Unbound is $42 at Best Buy right now.
$40 at Target, I think.
And $40 at Target tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah. Which it's past midnight now, so that might be a thing. Need for Speed Unbound is a fantastic game. I absolutely love it. Kate says, wrap it up, Mr. Judge. I would like to thank everybody in
10-hour
play
trial
Midnight Suns,
on
please.
EA Access.
Yeah, peace
Deliver
out.
strategy
Hurry
and
up.
go play Midnight
You gotta
Suns.
go.
It's addicting. Bye.
Gotta go down her chimney.
Vampire Survivors DLC coming. $2. Let's go.
Peace out. Peace out,
Later.
everybody. Later. Bye.
Shave your balls.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, let me find my button. Hold on. Oh my God, what happened to my OBS? It messed up. Hold on, I gotta find my button.
Are we live?
Are we fucking
We're still live. Yeah,
We're
we
still
are.
live?
We're live.
Hey.
Go play Midnight Suns.
What is going on?
Yeah, I just got the Iron Man Midnight Suns costume, so it's pretty cool.
That's
Hey,
awesome. I love it. I finally did the Spider-Man mission. I got Spider-Man. Finally. 40 hours in.
What is happening?
I played Marvel Snap
there it
today.
is. My OBS just like did something weird, man. It's crazy. All right, bye everybody. Peace.
Bye
What's your
again.
next gen patch
Later.
next week? Be ready.
Yeah.
Oh.
No Switch, I'm saying.
Yeah.